Welcome to ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. From Municipal Stadium in Daytona Beach, Florida, a big MEAC matchup between the South Carolina State Bulldogs and the Bethune Cookman Wildcats. Look at the MEAC standings. Quite a few unbeaten still left. It's early in conference play. Both these teams are unbeaten as well. 2-0 in conference play is Bethune Cookman, and South Carolina State is 1-0 in conference play. You can take my word for that. Jay Walker back in the booth with me. Great to have Sky back with us. Former NFL and collegiate quarterback Jay Walker. I'm Mark Neely. With pardon to the other three schools that finished in a five-way tie with these two in the MEAC last year, these two have really been the big heavyweights in the MEAC the last 5+ years.
I mean, what an intense rivalry this has evolved into. And take it from me, no love lost between these two football teams out here. The intensity down on the field in pregame was intense. Buddy Pugh's the jovial guy, had his game face on, and Terry Sims for Bethune-Cookman, he's eager to see if he can keep the rivalry going.
And there's some star power on this field tonight, especially South Carolina State defensive lineman Javon Hargrave.
If you're going to have a game of this magnitude with so much on the line, you need star power to show up, and Javon Hargrave, one of the best defensive players in America on any level of college football. He wreaks havoc from his nose tackle position. He will be playing on Sundays, but he has to be very dominant tonight if the Bulldogs want to take on a very talented team in Bethune-Cookman that comes in here that likes to run the football.
Well, Quentin Williams is going to be the starting quarterback for Bethune-Cookman. He'll have to dodge Javon Hargrave, but you talk about a guy who's playing very good football right now. That's Quentin Williams.
Probably played the best game of his collegiate career last week in the victory versus North Carolina Central. He accounted for over 300 yards total offense. More importantly, completed the ball at a 72% completion rate. If he can have that type of efficiency tonight, look for the Wildcat offense to be potent.
So a good matchup tonight here in the MEAC. South Carolina State, Bethune-Cookman. South Carolina State won the toss and deferred. It's a blackout here in Daytona Beach, so Bethune-Cookman wearing the all-black uniforms. A lot of their fans wearing the all-black shirts as well tonight. And the Wildcats will receive to begin the game. So we're set to go. South Carolina State 2-2 overall. Losses to FCS teams Coastal Carolina and Furman last week. And Bethune-Cookman 4-1 overall and 2-0 in conference play. Marquise Drayton and Jamaris Tompkins back deep, and Drayton from the goal line to the 20 and thrown down at the 23-yard line by Devondre Powell. Well, here come the Wildcats. We mentioned Quentin Williams. Right now, a career best passing efficiency for him, 173.33. That is easily, Jay, the best in the MEAC.
And he has to continue to play like he played in the second half of the game last week versus North Carolina Central. Got off to a slow start, the offense struggled, but come the fourth quarter, he was on fire. Let's see if he can continue that momentum into this series.
Yeah, more on that game, that win last week for them in Durham over North Carolina Central. First three quarters, they were getting dominated in that football game. Anthony Jordan with the carry, and he's immediately hit and dropped. May have lost a yard. Tevin Richard came in to make the stop, and that is a loss of 1.
One thing you can count on for South Carolina State, they've got great defensive line play, but they have linebackers that like to fly around the football. Deshaun Taylor, Darius Leonard, Tevin Richard, some good ones.
So it's second down and 11. Williams keeping this time and finds a crease up near the 30-yard line, so he picks up about 8. Philip Henry there to make the tackle. It's going to set up a third down and about 3.
Right away, I like the game plan. Javon Hargrave, very aggressive. They like to stunt him in a gap. Well, if he guesses the wrong hole, there's a huge running lane there, and the Wildcats were able to take advantage of it.
South Carolina State's defense is holding opponents to just 20% conversion on third down this year. They have been very stiff when it counts. 3rd and 3, Williams passes across the middle, incomplete. That's broken up right at the 30-yard line by Philip Henry, number 36. Drayshawn Nelson was the intended receiver.
And that's a telling tale right there, that third down. You talked about South Carolina State so good on third down, but the key is they get such a tremendous pass rush from their front 4 defensive linemen. Hargrave with a bull rush up the middle. Linebackers able to cloud the line of scrimmage and put a big pop on the receiver.
And that holding opponents to 20% conversion on third down, easily the best in the MEAC and second best in all of the FCS. The punt away, and Antonio Hamilton makes the fair catch at the 32-yard line. So a 37-yard punt with no return. And South Carolina State brings out an offense that's averaging 22 points per game. And we saw them at the beginning of the season, Jay, in the MEAC SWAC Challenge in Orlando. Adrian Collick was the starting quarterback. He got hurt in that game. Caleb York took over and has been the guy since.
And it's his job. Now Adrian Collick is now the change of pace quarterback when they want to run the football. But Caleb York, with that threat of throwing the football downfield, to solidify the starting job.
Jalen Simmons running left, cuts back. There's a flag in the area of holding. He stopped at the 36-yard line by Drew Harris. As we get the call. By the way, Adrian Collick is back healthy, had the knee injury from the first game of the season, but is expected to play some tonight. Robert Frazier, our official tonight, holding on South Carolina State.
And that's one of the things that they saw in the film study. They said, although Javarius Lehman is a really good left tackle for South Carolina State, number 52, when they run outside tackle, he tends to hold. He's got a large frame at 6'7", 310 pounds. He will hold from time to time, and the officials are going to watch that. They were alerted to that.
So South Carolina State, first and 20, a dangerous pass in the direction of the tight end Hemingway, who had to reach for that, and it's incomplete. And there were 3 black shirts in the vicinity, including Donald Smith.
Both teams think that their pressure can get to the quarterback quickly enough, and that allows the defensive secondaries to really stay close to the line of scrimmage and gamble on short passes. Would be surprised if we saw some explosive plays in this game, possibly with the double move.
York immediately swings out the pass to Jamison on the screen, and he's up across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Clyde Richardson with the tackle. It is a gain of 6 on that screen pass to Jamison. Clyde Richardson already has a couple of forced fumbles this year. They go to the empty backfield on 3rd down and 14. 3 receivers left, 2 to the right for Caleb York.
We're going to bring pressure on the young freshman quarterback. Man-to-man coverage across the board. Can they get to him in time?
Here they come. Good job by the line. Here's the pass, and it's out of reach of Jamison, who may have been held. Also, Quan Caldwell was in the area. There were 2 receivers for South Carolina State in the neighborhood, but Tyree Simmons, number 34, on the coverage, may get called for the defensive pass interference or the hold. And it is defensive holding. Tyree Simmons.
Downfield, what you do if you throw the ball in the air, you give the wide receiver an opportunity to get that call right there. If the ball's not thrown, the official probably would not have seen it.
South Carolina State was playing behind the chains. Their first play called back with a hold, so they were at 1st and 20. Now they get a first down after the defensive holding. First down, South Carolina State at their 39-yard line. York looks to throw on 1st down. Hit as he throws, completes the pass to the 40, and bouncing off that hit and racing across the 45 is Leonard Jamison. Pushed out of bounds at the 47 by Daquan Richardson. That's an 8-yard gain.
You've got teams playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. If you complete the ball shortly, one missed tackle becomes a big play. They got the hit on the quarterback, but it's a good job of making a receiver, a defender miss in the open field, picking up 7 yards on the play.
Right to the line go the Bulldogs. Play fake, underthrown. Looking for Jamison out in the flat on the far side. And it is 3rd down and about 3. Jamison, a redshirt freshman. Take the handoff to the fullback, and that was deflected intended for Simmons, but Robert Way, number 11, got a hand on it, and the tip causes the incompletion.
Way's having a fantastic season. The transfer from Marshall coming from the right side of your screen. If you can't get to the quarterback, leave your feet. But you see there, if Simmons is able to make that catch and it gets over Way's hand, plenty of daylight ahead of him. Bethune Cookman very aggressive with their defense thus far, blitzing the young quarterback 3 of the last 4 plays.
Jerome Petaway punting with Frank Brown back at his own 10 for Bethune-Cookman. A 72-yard punt return, the longest by Brown this year. And he lets that bounce over his head and skip into the end zone for a touchback, but there is a flag. Flag back at the 45. We'll find out about that when we come back after a 54-yard punt.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by McDonald's and in part by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
We are just a few miles away from the Speedway and here from Municipal Stadium in Daytona Beach. That penalty, as we went to break, was an illegal shift against South Carolina State. It was declined. Look at the blackout tonight. Bethune-Cookman's offense back out on the field for the second time. Jordan and Jones in the backfield. Williams on option keeping. Not anything there when he ran into Tiberius Cravens. Also James Settles.
The first series was an indication. The front four for South Carolina State won the battle at the line of scrimmage. They're very good. Bethune-Cookman has a good offensive line, young, but they're good. They got their hands full. They're going to have to figure out a way to slow down this penetration by the Bulldog defensive line.
Jones goes in motion out of the backfield to the top of the screen. Rushes on. Williams hit as he throws it. Has his man wide open at midfield. It's completed to Jaquan Loomis, the tight end, a 29-yard gain.
What a great job of playing quarterback by Quentin Williams, realizing there's one defender coming free that he can't block, stood in the pocket tall and delivered a strike to Jaquan Loomis, the tight end. He's playing phenomenal this year with his confidence level high.
6th catch of the season for Loomis. He had a big game, a career-high 47 receiving yards against Savannah State earlier this year. And first down at the South Carolina State 46. The handoff to Anthony Jordan. Jordan just keeps pushing the pile inside the 40. Now they'll whistle the play dead. He gets inside the 40 to the 39-yard line, and a 7-yard run for Anthony Jordan, who is in his 6th year of eligibility. If it seems like he's been around a long time, well, you are accurate.
He has been overcome injury as well, and slowly but surely climbing up the all-time touchdown list. But that play by Williams, when you hit a big play like that, the defense will stop blitzing you. That was a statement made by this offense.
Williams kept it, did not hand off to Jordan. Javon Hargrave with the tackle in no gain.
Let's go back and take a look at this play here. You know you're going to get hit. This is where you earn your scholarship as a quarterback. Coming right up the middle, get hit, wide receiver running open down the field. If you can hit those type of explosive plays, the defense has to respect the deep ball, and they have to lighten up on the blitzes.
3rd down and 3. And we talked about earlier how terrific the South Carolina State defense has been, limiting opponents to 20% conversion on 3rd down. Play fake. Williams trying to set up the screen, but stumbling as he tried to make the catch. Unable to come up with it was Anthony Jordan. So once again, the South Carolina State defense able to hold on a 3rd down. So Bethune-Cookman now 0 for 2 on 3rd down tonight. Ronnie Francis, freshman from Miami Central High School, on to punt. Actually, Jonathan Cagle, that is. And Antonio Hamilton back, and whistle at the snap. And that'll cost him 5 yards.
In a battle of field position, Every yard counts. Until the first points are on the board, this becomes a field position game with two defenses playing stellar. You need your special teams to step up. Small penalties like that 5-yard room for error, can make a difference.
Cagle averaging 38 yards per punt. His long this year, 61, and they almost got it there. And that's going to take a skip and grabbed at the 7-yard line by Hamilton. It'll be a 37-yard punt from Cagle. South Carolina State ball when we come back to Daytona Beach.
What did you miss at this year's 365?
Back at Daytona Beach, scoreless between South Carolina State and Bethune Cookman. Just over 5 minutes gone here in this first quarter. 2 punts so far for Bethune Cookman. Now South Carolina State with the football, and JR impact players when each team has the football.
Jalen Simmons, a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina. The running back has to be able to carry the load with the young freshman quarterback playing his first big game of this magnitude. And Jaleel Davis has to be the home run hitter for the speedy wide receiver core for Bethune Cookman.
Flag at the snap. We are efforting to get the referee's microphone working. A false start on South Carolina State, so that'll back them up 5 and be first at 15 from their own 12. Buddy Pugh, the head coach, South Carolina State, his 14th season. Handoff, Simmons running right, breaks a tackle. He's to the 20. Brought down from behind, falling forward up near the 24-yard line. Stopped by Daquan Richardson, a 12-yard run for Simmons.
And that's how you can make an impact in this game. When you've got a quarterback facing first and long, the ability to hand the ball off and pick up 10-plus yards to get closer to moving the chains, that's what you expect from your senior running back. Good hard running by Jalen Simmons.
By the way, Jay, we'd be remiss if we didn't say right away how much we're thinking about the folks in South Carolina dealing with all the rain from last week. Simmons running left again. And advances that all the way up near the 30-yard line for a gain of 5. Does have the first down.
It's been a tough week for everybody in Orangeburg. And talking to coaches, Orangeburg was spared a little bit. Practice field wasn't usable, but they'll take that. The band made it down all the way from Orangeburg, so that was a good sign. Didn't know if they would make it because of the events that took place there, but lets you know how important this game is, and everybody back in South Carolina are praying for you.
The false start against South Carolina State. There was no school at South Carolina State on Monday, and they got about 10 or 12 inches of rain from what Buddy told me in our chat. But just east of there, some areas got 20, 25 inches of rain, just biblical proportions. And of course, the LSU South Carolina game moved to Baton Rouge. Play fake, and here's York. He's throwing deep, looking for Jamison in stride, broken up at the last moment at the 25. Elliott Miller, number 35, just got the hand up to break up that play. And again, here's what the folks are dealing with in Columbia, South Carolina, about an hour's drive up the road from Orangeburg.
To get to Orangeburg and fly into Columbia, that's the closest airport there, so water everywhere. You know, I can go back to the MEAC SWAC challenge when we had South Carolina State, and what head coach Buddy Pugh said, this has to be a special season for South Carolina State. With the university, they need it now. With this past Mother Nature events that took place, they really need it even more.
The last pass didn't seem like a bad throw from York, just broken up at the last moment. Here's a run for Dondre Lewis-Freeman, his first carry of the game, ramped up by Trenton Bridges. A gain of 3.
And that ball by Caleb York on the previous play, that was a great pass, but better coverage of the young freshman Elliott Miller, number 35, who's starting to become a legend for Bethune Cookman. Look at this, trail the receiver, hit the ball at its highest point, stopping the big play. And Elliott Miller's just a freshman. He doesn't play like it.
And definitely one of their better cover corners, the freshman from Miami and Moreland High School. 3rd down and 12. York flag, and the pass high and off the hands of Jamison. Right now, South Carolina State, the penalties, big issue here. Todney Evans, Drew Harris were right there in the face of York. Oh, that's a personal foul, hands to the face against Bethune Cookman. So a flag that normally is kind of thrown in the vicinity of an offensive hold. But
did you see the offensive line for South Carolina State? They all started walking to their sideline, and Caleb York had to tell them, no, come on, it's against them. But are they going to change this call? I think we read the lips.
Okay. The official just pointed the wrong way, apparently. So it is against South Carolina State.
Yeah, I think it's on the 54, right side of your frame, right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's Charles Henderson, the right tackle, has him by the face mask.
So I guess they knew that they did need to walk off the football field. That's Frank Brown back at the Bethune Cookman 30 to receive the punt. Jerome Petaway. Low snap, but Petaway booms it. It's going to take a Bethune Cookman bounce, though, and be down at about the 46-yard line. Antonio Hamilton, just a 27-yard punt. Well, Sunday from 8 a.m. to noon, ESPNU brings you College Football Sunday. From Heisman hopefuls to championship contenders, College Football Sunday is the only show that ranks them all exclusively on ESPNU and Watch ESPN. First season here at Bethune Cookman as the head coach for Terry Sims. And, of course, Brian Jenkins moved on to Alabama State, but a lot of the staff is still here, Jim.
Able to keep the defensive coordinator, Yogi Jones, able to keep the offensive coordinator, Jim Pry, and many of the staff members that were key. And said he's still going to make his own mark on the program. And you can't question the success that Brian Jenkins had when he was the head coach here at Bethune Cookman. But Terry Sims seems to have him in a good place at 4-1 already this season.
Michael Jones got a nice block from his fellow running back Jordan to get him across midfield up to the 47-yard line of South Carolina State. Devondre Powell and Chris Pauling eventually making the stop for the Bulldogs, but that's a 9-yard run.
And I think that's what you have to do. You have to run outside the tackles. South Carolina State is just so strong. You run the ball in between the tackles to keep them honest, but jet sweeps and making them make tackles in open field, your best chance for success in moving the football.
Mike Jones in motion. Jordan gets the carry this time, and he will have the first down on second and short. He's up near the 40 still going, and finally stopped there by Tevin Richard and Deshaun Taylor, but a first down for Bethune Cookman.
How about that? Take that, Jay Walker. You say we can't run in between the tackles. Great individual effort by Anthony Jordan, pushing the pile. When you talk to their coaches, they say he's probably the best athlete on the team. If they moved over to the defensive side of the ball, he'd be a starting linebacker, but he's a very effective running back. Lets you know the athletic skill that Anthony Jordan brings to the table.
You mentioned his 31 career rushing touchdowns, climbing the ladder all-time at Bethune Cookman, and here's Jordan. He breaks a couple tackles being ridden towards the sideline inside the 30. A flag comes out where he's pushed out of bounds by Tevin Richard about the 26.
And this is a running back that's feeling it pretty good. Anthony Jordan running through arm tackles, showing some athleticism. You can tell the senior, he knows what's at stake. He's a graduate already.
So the personal foul face mask against Bethune Cookman. Apparently Jordan got the face mask of the defender, Tevin Richard.
But I like this. Watch when he gets in open space. The move he puts on number 5, Davius Chestnut, in a small space. Oh, looks like he was fighting him off. Let's see. He got it first. Didn't grab it.
Yeah, but that's just a stiff arm.
You know, stiff arms, some say whether or not can you get away with a stiff arm nowadays. And for that run there, I guess the answer was no.
Well, they do get the first down, but it's first and 14. And Williams now spinning around, looking at now he's going to run himself and maybe even pick up a couple, but he's stopped at the 41 by James Settles.
For years, Bethune-Cookman dominated the conference really offensively in time of possession by, we called them ball hogs because they would run the football. But this year's version, they say the strength is their speed they have at the wide receiver position. And after trying to establish some type of running game inside, you start to get the feeling that Bethune-Cookman's going to go back to relying on their skilled players and throw the football a little bit more with Quentin Williams in the game.
Well, they've been calling themselves lightning strikes. Of their 19 touchdown drives this year, 18 have come in drives of less than 3 minutes. And here's Williams running. Tripped up right near the marker by Chris Pauley. You see where they spotted. I don't think he got a great spot, and he's going to be a little bit short.
Great decision by Quentin Williams, but now 3rd and short. This is where it gets interesting. In a normal team, bottom half of the conference, you think 3rd and 2, we can have the whole playbook. But with a stingy defense like South Carolina State, we know how great they are on 3rd down. Be very careful with the football.
Go to the jumbo package, and they hand it off, and Jones.
I think he got it. Looked like the hole was there. They went to an unbalanced line. They shifted one lineman from one side of the football to the other. South Carolina State recognized it late. I believe they were able to make a stop.
But do you go for it anyway here on 4th and 1? I guess we get a quick answer.
Now they're moving the lineman back on the other side.
And this time, South Carolina State wants a timeout. They were able to defend that jumbo package well the last play, but with those substitutions from the Bethune Cookman side, Buddy thought, you know what, let's stop things here for a moment.
He's been around the block a couple times. Take a good look at Buddy Pugh, the dean of Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference coaches, longest tenure. He replaced the legend. He replaced Willie Jeffries at South Carolina State. Always difficult to replace a legend. He's done a good job. And this game has meant so much to both programs. Normally the team that wins this game has a really good shot at winning the conference championship.
You know, Willie Jeffries was there for 19 years. You had the 14 with Buddy, and you're looking at the last 33 years, 2 guys in Orangeburg.
Yeah, and those players never stop coming through that state of South Carolina. We talked about Javon Hargrave. He's a great one. And Darius Leonard, the linebacker, is going to be the next NFL player after Hargrave, the weak side linebacker. They coach up some defensive players. And one thing that goes along with South Carolina State, physical, stingy defense.
Well, on this drive for Bethune-Cookman, 6 plays. They've all been running plays, and this is 4th and 1. Williams hands off Anthony Jordan. He has the first down, finds the edge inside the 25-yard line before he's stopped by Philip Henry, and they convert on 4th and short.
And you saw the confusion again. They came out with a balanced formation. Now watch the South Carolina State defense try and shift late. After you see them change sides, they're moving. You don't want your defense moving sideways. So anytime you can make a defensive line start to think, that half-a-second reaction time can be the difference.
It was 4th and 1, so they needed 1 and got 7 from Anthony Jordan. First down at the South Carolina State 25-yard line. In motion goes Jones. Williams hands it off. This is first carry of the night for Kerry White. Just his 4th carry of the season. Stopped by Darius Leonard and Shaquan Brock.
And I like what offensive coordinator Jim Pry is doing for the Wildcats. He's got the defensive line thinking and now starting to attack once you slow down their reaction time, pounding the football. And right now, the South Carolina State defensive line is their 2nd unit in the game right now. So Hargrave and Reggie Owens settles. Those guys are out of the game right now, and they bring in fresh legs. We've seen teams have success versus this 2nd defensive line for South Carolina State.
Third down at 7. 0 of 3 on 3rd down tonight are the Wildcats. Williams throws it across the middle and wide open at the 15-yard line, and advancing for the first down to the 10 is Jawill Davis. His first catch of the night, but his team leading 18th of the year.
Blitz coming up the middle, crossing route where the linebackers are. You see the linebackers come up the middle on the blitz. They don't get to the quarterback. Great protection. Good job of finding the soft spot in the defense by Davis. Picks up a key first down for the Wildcats.
Davis, who had 2 touchdown catches last week in the come-from-behind win over North Carolina Central. Handoff, Jones. Sidestep 1 defender in the backfield, but then stopped just inside the 10 by Javon Hargrave. He does pick up a yard. Well, the first quarter really has not been good this season, Jay, for the Bethune-Cookman offense.
And yet they're 4-1. If they can score a touchdown right now, they double their production for the season. So right now they're knocking on the door. South Carolina State did bring in their starting defensive line again, trying to firm up the end zone stands.
2:15 clock running. That's the time remaining in this first quarter from Daytona Beach. Play clock at 2. They get the play off in time, and it's handed off. Michael Jones.
There's Hargrave.
Along with James Settles.
And Hargrave reminds me of some of the great tackles like Cortez Kennedy. After a timeout, after a rush, you couldn't block him. Watch Hargrave, right side of the screen, 97. Shoot the gap, shoulder pads, leverage, run down the line of scrimmage, pull him backwards. That's how you play the defensive tackle position.
13th play of the drive upcoming. 12 plays, 47 yards so far for Bethune-Cookman on this possession. Play fake. Williams looks towards the end zone, pulls it down, gets hit, and gets sacked. Back at the 17 by Greg Newell. A loss of 5.
And the sack was there, but give credit to Antonio Hamilton, number 13, the cornerback. They were trying to bait him with the misdirection and play action. He's going to stay at home. Top part of your screen right there, 13. He's not falling for it. They're trying to sneak the running back out. Because he stays home, shows the discipline, allows the defensive pressure to get to the quarterback for the sack.
Uriel Hernandez 0 for 1 in field goal attempts. 32-yard try, and that is good. His only other attempt was a 36-yard miss, so he hits from 32, and Bethune-Cookman scores with 43 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Miami, Florida State, Saturday at 8 Eastern on ABC.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans keep
Uriel Hernandez 32-yard field goal has given Bethune-Cookman a 3-0 lead. 43 seconds left first quarter. The last drive for the Wildcats, a season high 13 plays and went 41 yards and a season long 6 minutes 54 seconds. So it was a season high for plays and time of the drive, and they settled for 3.
I was going to say, but only 3 points. This is a speedy offense, relies on the explosive plays. They can score in under 3 minutes in a hurry, but the long drive, not able to capitalize on the drive and punch it in the end zone. Give credit to the Bulldog defense for making a stand. Bethune-Cookman figured out a couple things offensively during that last series.
Hernandez with the kick, end over end, and it's taken at the 5. Coming to the near side of the field, and flag does come down. The tackle made at the 37-yard line on Antonio Hamilton by Daquan Richardson. So the hold on the run back is going to push that back. Well, if you're out and about on this college football Saturday, don't miss any of the action while you're on the go. You can stream any game live. Download the Watch ESPN app or go to watchespn.com. Watch on your phone, your iPad, or heck, your television set. 34 seconds left in this first quarter. The penalty marks it all the way back to the 14-yard line. Adrian Collick checks in at quarterback, and he hands off to Taylor running right. It's a block from the fullback, Dondre Brown, and run out of bounds at the 22-yard line by Trenton Bridges, a 9-yard run. And there's Adrian Collick. The knee injury in the MEAC SWAC Challenge against Arkansas Pine Bluff had not played since the season opener.
And they said they were going to see Collick around this portion of the game, third or fourth series of the game. When he's in there, look for them to try and run the football a little bit more. Zone read.
Running straight ahead, Dondre Brown. They give it to the fullback. He tackled it at the 27-yard line, a 5-yard gain. It'll be a first down, so they'll stop the clock to move the chains and then restart it. So that may take us to the end of this first quarter. Bulldogs don't look like they're going to snap before time elapses. And the Uriel Hernandez 32-yard field goal, the only scoring of the first quarter. So we played one quarter here in Daytona Beach, this big MEAC matchup between South Carolina State and Bethune-Cookman. And it's the Wildcats, the home team, that has the 3-zip lead.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is brought to you by Fitbit. Find your fit at Fitbit.com.
Well, you saw Joey Logano's Daytona winning car. That right there is called the Bluebird, Jay. In 1935, that went 330 miles per hour on the beach here in Daytona, I'm told.
I just want to know how they stop it. That fast, 1935.
Well, we begin the second quarter. In that first quarter, total offense, 102 yards for Bethune-Cookman, 46 for South Carolina State. And a run for Justin Taylor, bounced off a couple of tacklers. He's all the way up to the 34-yard line. Robert Way, Tyree Simmons eventually able to bang him down to gain a 7.
Mark, it's getting physical down there, Mark. They're starting to throw leather. Hard hitting in between the tackles.
You know, when the Bluebird ran at 35, they were wearing leather helmets, probably. They're efforting to get the mic fixed.
Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You know, that's at least 3 false starts that I'm coming up with, and maybe more. That's just way too many.
And that's Robbie Stevenson, who's normally the backup center, but they've inserted him at the right guard position, shuffling around their offensive line a little bit. Anytime you start playing that shuffle on the offensive line, changing positions, players playing in positions they're not used to, overthink a little bit and forget the snap count sometimes.
Second down and 8. Handed off Justin Taylor, running right, and that's well read and defended. Tackled back to the 29, no gain. Robert Way, number 11.
Way's a good one. I think for Bethune-Cookman, they know when Collett's in the game, he wants to run it. They're going to run the zone read, and very difficult to beat this Wildcat defense sideline to sideline. This is a Florida-based team. A lot of speed on the defensive side. If you're going to have your way with Bethune-Cookman and have any success running the football, it has to be straight ahead. You can't beat them with the east-west running game. It has to be north-south.
South Carolina State 0 of 2 on third down tonight. A 3rd and 8. The snap to Collett. He's looking to the near side and a little wide, and the catch made by Daquan West at the 39, but that's enough for the first down. He was able to get at least 1 foot down.
Great job by West. Putting the foot down. All you need is one in college football. One thing about Adrian Collett, he's not your typical backup quarterback. This is a guy that was a starting quarterback, was injured, lost his job to Caleb York as a running threat, but he can throw the football well. So I think for South Carolina State to have success, he's going to have to complete some passes.
Taylor, nowhere to go there. Flag down. Kevin Thompson made the hit. Now it's a hold against South Carolina State.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
On guard, Eric Dickerson.
And the penalties are nothing new for Bethune-Cookman, but for South Carolina State. You see the numbers on the quarterbacks of the year. Collett's work done in only one game, the blowout win they had versus Arkansas Pine Bluff. But Caleb York, just a true freshman. He's been efficient. A little bit more of a threat in the passing game.
Already 6 penalties against South Carolina State, so it's 1st and 20. Handoff Jalen Simmons, another flag as he's tackled at the 27 by Donald Smith. Victor Ishmael, the center for South Carolina State, lost his helmet. He's going to have to come off for a play. You can tell this is going against the Bulldogs.
Holding. Offense 51. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
On the left guard, Justin Evans.
Right now, they're playing tag you it. You ever play tag you it? When it's your turn to mess up, you're going to see left side of your screen, 51. When he holds them, doesn't blow them through the spot. So we've had penalties on 52, 51, 54, 73, 56. That's starting line.
Another flag as Jalen Simmons is tackled at the 24 by Robert Way. Man, oh man, South Carolina State can't get out of their own way right now. This is the 4th flag just on this drive alone on South Carolina State.
And they're all in the trenches on the lineman.
Holding offense number 54. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
Did you say Charles Henderson's number when you were reeling off those numbers
That's
before?
his second, so now they're like repeating around. He started it. He had the first penalty there.
Wow. This drive is just going in reverse for the Bulldogs, now inside their own 10-yard line. By the way, the first down marker is at their own 49.
You know what I do now? I drop back and tell my quarterback, let it go.
Yep.
And if you throw a 50-yard interception, I'm not mad at it.
And it gets picked. It's just like a punt.
Just like a punt. Make sure you tackle.
Wow, look at that in the bug. 1st and 40. Wow. Handed off Jalen, or actually kept the quarterback, Colick, 6-yard gain. DeMarcus Womack is wearing number 97 tonight.
And they have some things they can do with one-on-one situations. They've got the Hemingway, the tight end, who's 6'5", 87, runs well. Taquan West is 6'4", from his wide receiver position. And Bethune Cookman has 3 defensive backs under 5'9". I think you take a chance at a jump ball. Find one of those smaller guys and throw at him.
Colick, screen pass out to Jamison, gets a block on the edge. There goes a flag. He's down the sideline and may be gone, but the flag back at the 20. He makes a move and he's going to race into the end zone.
Wow. If this comes back, then Buddy Pugh's going to light his fuse. I'm curious about this call. It seemed like there was a great block on the outside. Now, whether they're going to call holding on the wide receiver, I don't know, but it seemed like it came in after the receiver was past the blocker.
If it does hold, it would be an 85-yard touchdown, but it looks like it's coming back.
And see, Buddy's coming on the field. You're going to have to explain this to Buddy Pugh.
Holding offense number 82. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
They called it on receiver Quan Caldwell.
Take a look. Caldwell there. Now he's engaged. He was driven backwards. Oh boy. I mean, it was a great surge by the defensive back. When that play started, the defensive back went up and absolutely pummeled him, pushed him back, and the receiver was running by him. Whoa. You know, he held his cool during the first 3 or 4 penalties, 4 in a row, consecutive holding penalties.
But you take an 85-yard touchdown off the board.
Wow.
We'll look pretty skeptical. This is 45 yards of penalty now on this drive against South Carolina State. Hand off to Jalen Simmons. Well, let's take another look here. I mean, Quan Caldwell, from the angle we saw.
Well, he's blasting him. 24 is going into him pretty hard.
Oh, you know,
that's a hold.
He had a little bit of the jersey, from that angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and just a little, he's trying to hold on like he's to stop from falling. And by trying to stop falling, did that hold have anything to do with the play?
No, it didn't affect it, but he did have the jersey. That's why it came from the official way on this near side. And the official threw that flag like 30 yards. Here's Jalen Simmons turning the corner, got a block on the edge. Hit out of bounds at the 34. Again, the 49-yard line is where the first down marker is. Trenton Bridges with the tackle.
You know what I'm thinking about all those penalties, especially that last one? They always say this. You can call a penalty on every play. Every single play.
And they pretty much did on that drive.
Yeah. And tough one. But be careful. It seems like that'll fire up the team on the road. Coach will use that and say, hey, everybody's against us.
Jerome Penaway to punt. Did get a little more breathing room thanks to that last gainer of 20 and a high punt. Brown comes up and makes the fair catch at the 30. So Penaway with a 36-yard punt and another flag.
Not so fast, Neely. You know what game we're doing. This is State Bethune. Penalties everywhere.
There is no foul for holding.
It was just force of habit, I think, and they pick up that flag. 3-0 Bethune Cookman, still early second quarter.
Big savings on brakes have arrived at Pep Boys.
Coming up Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, the 2015 Geico High School Football Showcase on ESPNU. Bergen Catholic against DePaul Catholic, a couple of New Jersey schools exclusively here on ESPNU and streaming live on Watch ESPN. First down, Bethune Cookman from their own 30. They have the 3-0 lead thanks to a first quarter 32-yard field goal from Uriel Hernandez. Running left up to the 33 is Darius Leonard making the tackle of Michael Jones. Gain of 2.
Thus far, two defenses really putting on a clinic. That's why we have a 3-0 ball game. But neither offense able to really establish any consistency just yet. The defenses have done a really good job in the penalty-ridden football game up to this point.
Throw, a bullet is caught at the 38-yard line by Kevon Mitchell. 7-yard gain. He really had to have the hands ready for that one.
And the key was Williams had the time. Look at the protection up front. South Carolina State has the backup line in there. We always notice they don't get quite as much pressure when Hargrave and Reggie Owens are out of the football game, allowing Williams the ability to go through his progressions and complete the pass.
Third down, it's short, 3rd and 1. They shift 3 to the left side of the formation, including the tight end, Quan Loomis. And there's a first down run for Anthony Jordan up to the 47, an 8-yard gain, tackled by Davius Chestnut and Deshaun Taylor.
What do we see so often? You start to show you can run the football. Here comes Hargrave. Here comes Reggie Owens and settle this unbalanced line.
Quick snap and a carry for Jordan again, but this time stood up and probably going to lose a yard. Reggie Owens is there along with Darius Leonard.
I mean, we see to do this and give credit to Jim Pry, the offensive coordinator for Bethune Cookman. He said if you're going to put your backup line in there and change all 4 bodies, then we're going to attack. We're going to run the football. And by doing that, you really put a lot of stress on your starters to make an impact when they're in the game.
So the obvious question, Jay, is why take out your first team starters?
Fresh legs always win,
yeah,
particularly when you think it's going to come down to the 4th quarter.
Williams in traffic, pushed down and sacked by Gregtavius Newell.
There's a difference between the starters and the backups for a reason. You can't go through your progressions. You have to hurry up that clock. Nice stunt on the inside, double team on Hargrave in the middle, and down goes Williams for the big sack.
A 7-yard loss on the sack. It's 3rd down and 18. Williams being pursued and throws it incomplete. That was Tyler Smith, number 33, that had him around the waist.
Man, was anybody in the vicinity? Okay.
Did he?
They said there was a player in the area. The great arm strength shown by Quinn Williams. He was clearly getting rid of it, but
because he didn't get a pass.
Did he get a pass the line of scrimmage?
Yes.
That was what the great arm strength was, but I'm not so sure I saw somebody in the area.
Jonathan Cagle punting. Hamilton at his own 28. Here they come. And the lefty gets it away, a line drive. And the fair catch taken at the 25 by Hamilton. 36-yard punt with no return. 7.5 minutes to play in the first half here at Daytona Beach. The only point so far was a Hernandez 32-yard field goal in the first quarter for Bethune Cookman. There's 7.5 minutes left till halftime here in Daytona Beach. This big MEAC matchup between the Bulldogs and Wildcats. Bethune Cookman, Morgan State, Norfolk State all 2-0. They have North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State at 1-0. And hey, Savannah State won a game.
Savannah State, we'll talk about that in a little HBCU breakdown at halftime. What about Norfolk State? Surprise team, first-year head coach Trell Scott, undefeated in conference play.
This is Dondre Brown running left up to the 30, so he picks up about 5. So even with that, and he's slow to get up. Brown on his back. With that 5-yard pickup, that's now 98 total yards for South Carolina State. But Jay, they have 82 penalty yards.
And they also had a 80-plus yarder touchdown called back.
Would have been an 85-yard touchdown.
That would have neutralized many of those penalty yards that they incurred. Dondre Brown plays sort of an H-back position for South Carolina State. Started his career as a running back. Got bigger and bigger, 236 pounds. Coach Pugh said he kind of ate himself into a H-back, fullback position. In this type of game here, they were counting on him for his physical nature of running the football.
Well, that was Dondre Brown's second carry of the night for a total of 10 yards. And we'll watch the end of the play here.
Now, you know what? Oh,
that right knee was twisted awkwardly.
And this is, technically, could that be like a horse collar? I mean, he didn't grab him around the neck, but he grabbed him high enough in the chest and left his feet.
Well, I was watching his legs, but if we watch it again,
watch the defender on the tackle
now
wrap him and leave his feet.
A horse collar doesn't necessarily have to have the shoulder pads grabbed. It can be the top of the jersey, but let's take a look.
Look, he leaves his feet and wrestles him down.
It's DeQuan Richardson making the tackle. We're back to the action and a carry straight ahead for about 2 yards for Justin Taylor. They are looking at that right knee, which you could tell from the replay, definitely twisted in an unusual position. Now a Bethune Cookman player is down. That's Drew Harris, it appears, one of the defensive linemen. Freshman out of Stone Mountain, Georgia.
It's been physical down on the field. We knew it was a physical nature. When the two teams, neither one was going to back down. It's just the second quarter. And we've already seen a number of hard hits. And unfortunately, with hard hits, you start to see injuries.
59 for Bethune Cookman is defensive lineman Drew Harris. So we will step aside. 7:01 to play in this first half in Daytona Beach.
College Game Day live from Salt Lake City, Saturday at 9 a.m. on ESPN.
So Courtyard is the official hotel of Super Bowl 50. You're the marketing genius.
Drew Harris went off under his own power. They're working on the right bicep, forearm, and sometimes the wrist. So it appears to be a right arm injury to Harris. 3rd down and 3 for South Carolina State. Clock running under 7 minutes to play first half.
Colic is a threat to run in these situations.
And he throws looking for Jamison. Actually, spinning. That's Caldwell. Quan Caldwell who makes the catch for the first down at the 46-yard line of Bethune-Cookman, a 22-yard gain.
Give your receivers a chance to go up for the jump ball. James Darby, the defender, number 24, 5 feet 8 inches. Quan Caldwell goes 6 feet, makes the catch. Those are some of those opportunities I think you can get with a large wide receiving corps for the Bulldogs.
Hand it off. Jalen Simmons finds a crease across the 40, inside the 40, near the marker at the 38. A 9-yard gain.
When South Carolina State has success running the football, it's normally on the left side behind Javarius Lehman and Justin Evans, number 72 and 51. Lehman, 6'7", 310, NFL prospect. Put him along with the tight end, Tamara Hemingway, and they can seal the edge.
In motion, they have the jet sweep. Leonard Jamison stopped right along the sideline. He's going to have the first down. It was 2nd and short. He's out at the 35-yard line.
We talk about sealing the edge. Number 87, Tamara Hemingway, the tight end. This is how you block. Watch number 87. Look, see your defensive back. Take him for a ride. That's called roller skating. Roller coaster. Put him on skates. Good job. I tell you, use your size when you're 6'5" and your leverage.
And no flag.
Yeah.
Andre Lewis Freeman with 2. He was stopped by Daquan Richardson.
You see offensive coordinator Joseph Blackwell, who's also the offensive line, starting to realize, let's wear him out on the left side of the field. Let's force the football behind our all-conference tackle and our all-conference tight end. See if we can muscle around the Wildcat defense on the left side.
Well, I should have mentioned the flags.
False start. Offense number 38. 5-yard penalty. Still second out.
On the tight end, Kendall Cobb, who moved early.
You can tell the faith they have in Collick as a quarterback. If it was truly a 2-quarterback platoon system, when you got second and long, you bring in your thrower, Caleb York, but they have faith in the arm of Collick because he's experienced and know he'll make good decisions with the football.
10 first-half penalties for 87 yards. Collick on the run, scrambling out of the pocket, and took a big hit at the 32-yard line. Robert Way and DeMarcus Womack will stop a Collick. He actually was able to, when that was about to happen, I thought it was going to be a really big hit, and he was able to minimize that somewhat.
Minimize the hit. What I tell you about running sideways against teams from Florida.
Not a good idea.
You're not going to have a lot of success doing it. That hole closed in a hurry.
3rd down and 6. Showing blitz, here they come. Collick's got to get rid of it, does so, and he had a man wide open but underthrew to Quan West, who if he catches that would have waltzed into the end zone. Trenton Bridges, number 42, though, really put a big hit on Adrian Collick.
Mike linebacker coming right up the barrel. Great timing, full momentum. Collick cannot step into the throw. Whereas Taquan West was wide open for the touchdown. But give credit, defensive coordinator Charles Yogi Jones dialing up another blitz, continuing to be aggressive, living dangerously, and until South Carolina State hurts them, we'll go back to that blitz when needed.
McKee straight back to receive the Jerome Pettaway punt, and a short end-over-end punt takes a Bulldog bounce inside the 10. And they'll down it just outside the 5. 27-yard punt for Pettaway, but it's an effective one. Just over 4 minutes to play in the first half.
When you move, Degree Motion Sense reacts. With unique microcapsules activated by movement to release bursts of freshness all day. Motion Sense, protection to keep you moving.
Charles Yogi Jones, now in his 6th season as a defensive coordinator here at Bethune-Cookman. His defenses have had success against the South Carolina State offense in the last 5 meetings, even though they've only allowed less than 13 points in those games. They haven't won all of those games. They've been some low-scoring games.
The defense has done the job, holding this Bulldog offense to 12.5 points per game. That's phenomenal over the course of your career. Looks like he's on his way to doing it again here tonight.
Hand it off to Anthony Jordan, running right, turning the corner to the 10, 15-yard line, all the way up across the 20 to the 23-yard line. Stopped by Darius Leonard and Deshaun Taylor.
And one of the things that I think we need to make note of, Bethune-Cookman can hold teams to a low amount of points because they hold the ball. I mean, for years, Bethune-Cookman's always won the time of possession. So I think you have to give credit to the offense for the power running game, and their defense is not on the field more than the other team's opposing defense.
After the 18-yard run by Jordan, he goes in motion. It's handed off to Michael Jones. To the 26 for a gain of 3. Last year's meeting was in Orangeburg. South Carolina State won it 20-14, but Bethune-Cookman had 4 turnovers in that game. That's what really did them in that one.
And it's funny because I've seen South Carolina State come down here and win a game, and we've seen Bethune-Cookman go up to Orangeburg, and when they go back and forth, it's almost as if home field advantage is almost neutralized in this series between these teams in recent years.
But it's a game, Jay, that always has a bearing on who wins the conference.
No question.
Williams steps up, throws it deep, incomplete. Antonio Hamilton there step for step with the intended receiver Kevon Mitchell.
Defense being played at a high level. One thing you have to give credit to the offensive line for Bethune-Cookman. Their game plan was not to allow Hargrave to hurt them. They have double-teamed him on every play, doing a good job of neutralizing his effectiveness in this football game.
Double teams on Javon Hargrave, though, that's not exactly new news, is it?
Been the story of this senior season.
3rd down and 7. Williams twisting, throwing high, brought down but out of bounds, incomplete at the 38.
You know, when you don't double team Hargrave, you know what you get? You get your quarterback hit.
It's Andre Scott, who was the receiver.
So they decided to go one-on-one with Hargrave. And look at the pad level of Hargrave. Quick step right away. He's got him in the trail position, ripping through, forces Williams to step up, get hit, incomplete pass. Now, will that show up as a sack for Hargrave? No, but it's a big incompletion in another quarterback hurry.
Okay, but my question is, that wasn't holding? You know? Here's the punt for Cagle. Good punt sends Hamilton all the way back on the move to the 25, where he made the fair catch. 49-yard punt for Cagle. 2:42 left in this first half. Let's take a look at the HBCU power rankings. Not surprised that Alcorn State's still atop that.
Yeah, they're trying to go wire to wire, and they're playing football at a very high level. North Carolina A&T projected to win the MEAC over South Carolina State, but I still go back to South Carolina State beat A&T last year. So I'm giving it to South Carolina State over A&T. Number 4, Southern University. Coach Odoms has them playing well. And Bethune Cookman, number 5. So we've got number 2 taking on number 5.
The pitch, Jalen Simmons out at the 30, picks up 4.
So that's the magnitude of this game right here. And then the teams I have on the bubble, Grambling on the bubble. Bethune-Cookman went to Grambling this season and beat them in Grambling. So it's going to be hard for the Tigers to overtake the Wildcats. And Rod Reed, I hear you. Tennessee State's a good ball club. 4-1, their only loss came to Jacksonville, who's the #1 team in FCS football. So Big Blues playing good football this season.
Caleb York back in at quarterback. That was batted and actually caught by the lineman Charles Henderson. But for a loss back at the 21.
York's in the game. They want to throw the football and leave your feet. Good job. Actually, 2 black jerseys. No window to get that ball through. That was Todney Evans coming off the edge as well from his defensive end position.
That lost 8. And because it hit the defender first,
it's not an illegal catch.
The lineman can catch the football, which he probably should have batted down, but then again, he probably doesn't get to catch the football all that much. Here's Caleb York throwing deep down the near sideline, double covered and out of bounds in midfield, looking for Quan Caldwell. But he had a couple of black shirts around him. 4th down. You mentioned that South Carolina State, North Carolina A&T game, which we actually did last year, the Atlanta Football Classic, and South Carolina State won that game 13-0.
Shut them out, but A&T's back. They're bigger, a little bit stronger, more experienced. Probably have one of the most electrifying weapons in all FCS football in Tariq Cohen.
And I remember A&T had quarterback issues in that game last year.
Starting quarterback Quick was out.
Booming punt from Jerome Penaway. Fair catch taken at the 40-yard line by Frank Brown. 39-yard punt. Saturday night on ESPN, college football primetime presented by Hilton. Arkansas taking on 8th-ranked Alabama. 7 Eastern time. Then at 10, huge Pac-12 battle between unbeatens. 23rd-ranked Cal, number 5 Utah. The doubleheader again starts at 7 Eastern Saturday night on ESPN and also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Utah's now suddenly kind of the in vogue team.
Top 5, and get to see some star power. Alabama, Derrick Henry showing up. I want to see Goff, quarterback at Cal. They say he's going to be the first draft pick. Let's see how he does in that national stage. Cal hasn't had a game of significance in quite a long time.
And Alabama was an underdog for the first time in forever last week, and they pretty much put the odds makers in their place. Handed off. Anthony Jordan was spinning all the way to midfield. So he picks up 10, close to it, before being tackled by Devondre Powell and Tevin Richard.
Great opportunity for Bethune-Cookman to put some points on the board before the half. Like to see them come out with a nice 2-minute drive, manage the clock effectively. great field position, have timeouts. Don't get too lazy with this. It's going to be hard to run the football, but Quentin Williams has an opportunity to kind of pick this team apart. And as a quarterback, sometimes in a situation, even if you don't score, but the more snaps you get to look at the opposing team's defensive secondary and coverage, it starts to you start to memorize that. Muscle memory takes over. So this is a good opportunity for Quentin Williams to get a look at the secondary for South Carolina State while trying to help his team close out the first half with the lead.
Rashawn Nelson stepped out of bounds, stopping the clock since we're inside 2 minutes, just over a minute to go first half. 2nd and 5. Williams pulls it back down and then just throws it out of bounds. Boy, where's the flag there? Now, he was not out of the tackle box. He did throw it beyond the line of scrimmage, but there wasn't anybody in the vicinity. Am I missing something there, Jay?
There is no foul for intentional grounding.
Well, why not?
You have to say why. And that's what's missing. Why isn't there a foul for intentional grounding?
Yeah, we could tell there wasn't a foul call because there wasn't a flag on the ground. But we'd like to know why. We didn't get the explanation. Because it certainly looked like intentional grounding, but it's a 3rd down and 5 instead. Here comes the rush off the edge. Williams steps up, pump fakes. There's a flag. He's bumped out of bounds right near the marker at the 40, but we'll see about the flag on the field.
Hargrave applying the pressure. I think he induced a holding call.
There is a player down right where the tackle was made at the 40. Ooh, and that's Javon Hargrave.
He had the pressure on the quarterback. I believe the hold was somebody was holding him. He got away and forced Williams to leave the pocket. But this could be monumental. Let's hope he's okay.
Hargrave down right on the Bethune Cookman sideline. Hargrave up, but he's definitely got a hitch in that walk coming off the field.
Caught the hold on 52. Yeah, Hargrave, that's a hold. Pushed him towards the end of the play.
10-yard penalty, repeat the down. There is no 10-second run out, the foul, and penalty enforcement stop the game clock.
5 tackles for Hargrave, 1 tackle for loss. And it didn't seem to be a hit that caused that, at least not on that particular play.
I think everybody's hoping, everybody in HBCU football, Bethune Cookman fans included, hoping that's nothing serious. Young man with a bright future, All-American.
3rd down at 15 after the holding call. Williams wrapped up, lost the football. It's picked up by Jordan, who runs with it and actually advances it to midfield. So he picked up 5, but the quarterback Williams is down. Reggie Owens had him sacked, but then Williams lost the football on the way to the ground. Williams does pop up. He lost his helmet. And now trotting off the field.
It's been a physical football game.
Yes, it has.
These two teams are taking it to each other. Great effort by Owens, wrestling Williams down. And Williams tried to flick that ball out, became a fumble. Very fortunate.
You know, I think his head happened to hit like the leg of the South Carolina State defender that had come into the picture there. Here's Hamilton back at his own 10. South Carolina State, 2 timeouts, but only 34 seconds left in this first half. Angling the punt, Cagle, and that's going to go into the end zone for a touchback. 50-yard punt, but it's going to come out to the 20. So just 25 seconds, 2 timeouts. Coming up at the half, we'll send it to the studio with Matt Schick and Jason Sehorn. They'll preview that Big Cal Utah game coming up. Also, the fact that the game at Columbia moved to Baton Rouge, LSU and the Gamecocks. And of course, Jay will have the HBCU breakdown.
A lot of things taking place in the world of HBCU football, and a lot of things to be decided here. It seems like in the second half of this game, as the Bulldogs prepare to take it into the locker room down 3-0.
York takes a knee, and that's going to be the case. The only scoring, a first quarter 32-yard field goal for Bethune-Cookman kicker Uriel Hernandez. No scoring in the second quarter, and here at the half, Bethune-Cookman leading South Carolina State by that same 3-0 score. Bulldogs, who won the toss and deferred, going to receive the second half kickoff, but very physical game, Jay, and defensive dominated and flag dominated.
Expect more of the same in the second half. Two teams are going to continue to go at it. The score only being 3-0. Still hard for me to tell who's got what it takes to get the W.
Matt Chick, Jason Sehorn in the studio on the other side of the break. Again, 3-0 Bethune-Cookman here at the intermission from Daytona Beach. Halftime here at Daytona Beach. Bethune-Cookman leading South Carolina State 3-0. Jay, I'm sure BC would like to address those guys once again.
A couple of Bethune-Cookman legends on the left. Nick Collins, NFL veteran, and Ryan Davis of the new generation plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fantastic Wildcat legends.
Great to have you with us from Daytona Beach with former NFL and collegiate quarterback Jay Walker. I'm Mark Neely. Time for the HBCU breakdown, Jay. I know you were in Durham last weekend, and you saw really almost for the first three quarters, Bethune-Cookman couldn't do much.
They were flat. They were dead in the water, but one of the best football games you would have seen anytime recent memory. Quentin Williams came out, was flat, but in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter, he was on fire. He started throwing dimes throughout the game. Bethune-Cookman took the lead on this touchdown scamper here. You see them in full command, but what happened afterwards is what's got everybody talking down there. Great drive led by North Carolina Central. You see 46 seconds left in the game. Does he get in? Does he get out?
That would have been the go-ahead touchdown.
On the field, it was ruled that he was short of the end zone. And I talked to the head of the officials, Thomas Simonette, and he said there was not enough there to overturn the call on the field, so they got it right. Figured they'll kick a field goal to win it, right? From the 1-yard line? Not so fast. They lose it, allowing Bethune-Cookman to continue to stay undefeated in conference play and set up this showdown we're seeing here for one of the best games you'll see, Mark. They're still talking about it. At the end of the day, you have to say they got it right.
Yes, and the win for Bethune-Cookman, as you mentioned, a big one for them. They're 4-1 coming into this game. I recall early in the season, you told me that Savannah State was going to win a football game this year.
Yeah.
They have.
Somebody didn't listen. Somebody didn't listen. I told everybody in the MEAC SWAC Challenge, the surprise team in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference was going to be Savannah State. And guess what? For the first time since 2010,
wow.
The Tigers have won a conference football game when they knocked off Florida A&M at home 37-27. Congratulations to Savannah State head coach Ernest Wilson. They hung in there. Now they're seeing if they can win a couple more games. They deserve hats off for breaking that losing streak.
You think they can win another one?
They can throw the football, and they've got a fantastic sophomore linebacker. They could sneak somebody else.
Think so?
I think so.
Wow. Well, were you surprised by what happened in Jackson, Mississippi? Was it yesterday or the day before, the firing of the head coach Harold Jackson?
Yeah, one of the big stories. Jackson State relieved the coaching duties of Jackson State legend Harold Jackson. He came out of the NFL to coach this Jackson State football team. They let him go. A little bit surprised the way it happened because they did it the week before the homecoming game. They've got a bye week. Normally you were trying to win your homecoming game. They let him go, and you hate to see stuff like that happen. He was a legend. He was revered in that community. They let him go, but whenever you coach football, crazy things can happen.
And that's our HBCU breakdown from Daytona Beach. Guess what, though, Jay? We've got a second half still to play here in Daytona Beach. It's low scoring right now. That could change at half number 2. 3-0 Bethune-Cookman. Okay, you're going to be out and about this college football Saturday. Don't miss any of the action while you're on the go. Just stream any game live. You can download the Watch ESPN app or go to watchespn.com. Keep up on all the great games. Not only this weekend, but every weekend. Buddy Pugh's South Carolina State Bulldogs, 10 penalties for 87 yards against the Bulldogs in the first half. That was a big story for them. South Carolina State to get the football, though, to begin the second half. The Wildcats, Ariel Hernandez kicks off. Short kick taken right near the sideline at the 15 by Antonio Hamilton. He's to the 25, 30, comes to the near side and has just the kicker to beat. Gets past him, and there he goes. Antonio Hamilton, but guess what? Why should the second half be any different than the first? There's a flag back at the 35-yard line. '86-yard kickoff return for touchdown that looks to be coming back.
Return holding by the return team, number 33. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Well, what happened in the first half is continuing in the second half for South Carolina State. The miscues, the flags. This would have been an 85-yard touchdown, but the hold was called on the edge and brought it back. And there was a hold here on the run by Jordan. Yeah, the yellow flags were everywhere.
You have to ask yourself, were they holding foul? And they were. I think, look at them, you saw they were holding foul, but at the end of the day, as I said before, you can call a penalty on every play out there. You have to have the ability to show the hold, and they're just calling it really tight on the field. And they're starting the second half the same way, calling things really tight.
There were false starts as well, as you saw in that first half. Simmons with the run. Well, they had an 85-yard touchdown called back in the first half. Now an 86-yard kickoff return for touchdown called back. And look at our first half recap. 152 total yards for the Wildcats, 135 for the Bulldogs. And again, the penalties, 10 penalties for 87 yards.
The defense has played well, but they were assisted by a number of flags being thrown and offensive miscues.
Zach Simmons has enough for the first down up across the 35. No flags. Almost feel like I have to say that now on every play.
Sometimes when you're playing a team that knows you well, you tend to do a thing uncommon, and I think that's where some of the penalties have come from. But in the second half, it was very physical in the first half. I think we're going to see more physical play in this second half. So much riding on this game and just a 3-point lead.
It's a scary thought, because it was a very physical first half. To kick it up a notch or two's going to be something else to watch here. Second down at 6 after the gain of 4. Taylor and Simmons are the backs split with York, and the quarterback York under pressure throws and has a man leaping attempt, but out of the hands of Jamison. The defender saying he came up with the football. Elliott Miller tried to sell it, but it is an incomplete pass.
York wishes he could hold on to this ball split second longer. Good job by Jamison getting behind Miller. It seemed as if Jamison made a fantastic job when he elevated, left his feet, not able to hold on.
Ball rolled on the ground for about a yard, and Elliott Miller said, hey, why not? I'll try to sell that. Third down at 6. South Carolina State 2 of 7 on third down tonight. Andre Lewis Freeman down into the backfield. Picks up protection for York, who throws on the move and overthrows Jamison just by a hair. He got the right hand on it.
And because of the difference in mobility, Bethune Cookman is blitzing Caleb York every time down there. When Collick was in the game, mobile quarterback, defensive coordinators hate quarterbacks and outrun a blitz. So Caleb York is going to have to figure out a way to settle in that pocket and complete some throws. We've seen him on 2 consecutive pass attempts have the middle field open, yet he threw an incompletion both times.
That's now 6 possessions for South Carolina State in the football game, and this is their 6th punt. Frank Brown back at his own 20 for this Jerome Petaway punt. Good punt for Petaway. Chases him all the way back to the 12. Keeps his balance. Brought down at the 22-yard line. A 49-yard punt with a 9-yard return. And Tevin Richard with the tackle on special teams for the Bulldogs. Coming up on Sunday from 8 a.m. to noon, ESPNU brings you College Football Sunday. From the Heisman hopefuls championship contenders. College Football Sunday is the only show that ranks them all, exclusively on ESPNU and Watch ESPN.
Maybe they'll start saying, do away with the rankings. Just give me 5.
Yes.
Give me the top 4 and the one you're leaving out. That's what college football is coming down to.
I like it. Michael Jones to the edge. A flag down. Wrapped up by Deshaun Taylor. I'll put you on the spot. Who would be your 4 right now? Is Utah in? Let me just say that. Is Utah in the 4?
Right now, the Pac-12, I think so.
Yeah.
And I think the Pac-12 deserves it. And I think when it comes down to conference, you know,
Holding.
have favorites.
Offense number 17. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Will Davis, receiver on the edge, called for the hold. Well, it's interesting to see week to week. People love Ohio State, then they're down at Ohio State. Then they're big on Ole Miss, and now they're big on Utah. It's fun to watch the turns and have a great college football season. Penalty pushes him to first at 19. They rush 4. The pass complete to the wide open receiver at the 20-yard line. Andre Scott to the 27 is where they'll spot that. A 15-yard gain.
Very important for South Carolina State. Javon Hargrave was on the field to start the second half. He went down in the last minute of the first half with an injury. Good to see him back out on the field for the Bulldogs.
Pass is again completed right across 35 to Andre Scott. Same play and almost the same result all the way up to the 44, where his forward momentum was stopped and called down there.
Look what we're seeing. They're blitzing Quentin Williams, but he's a senior. Watch him sit tall. I've got protection. Go through his reads. We've seen Caleb York a couple times with the blitz. Happy feet, not trusting the protection, as so many young freshman quarterbacks do. Quentin Williams starting to get comfortable for Bethune-Cookman. That's a good sign for the Wildcats.
Scott adds a 17-yard gain. Make it a first down from the 44. Jones for 1 or 2 to the 45. There's a player down for South Carolina State. And that's Hargrave again.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, you know every week you're going to get double teamed every weekend. They've been on the field for quite a while. Bethune-Cookman put together some good drives in the first half. They know one-on-one, pretty much unblockable, but when they start sending double teams on a consistent basis for you, it's starting to take its toll, wearing down the big fella.
Yeah, we didn't receive official word, but it seemed like a lower body issue when he came off the field late in the first half, and that looks to be the same thing. Second down and 9. Williams to throw, and has his man right on the sideline. A leaping attempt, but he's out of bounds at the 32. Again, Andre Scott. Been a frequent target on this drive.
But look at Quentin Williams, stand tall in the pocket. Gonna get hit from the backside on the blitz. Almost had a long completion. Just missed outside, but Quentin Williams is showing the poise of a senior quarterback. They've been hitting him time and time again, but he's still yet to flinch.
Pop right back up. Third down and 9. 2 receivers to each side. Showing blitz. One of the linebackers here. He comes off the edge. That's picked up. The pass tipped in the air and incomplete. Almost picked off. Kendrick gathers. Jamie Wilson was the receiver who got a hand on it for Bethune-Cookman. It tipped that in the air and almost allowed it to be picked.
And they confused him. He anticipated another blitz coming. That was a nice zone blitz. They peeled off, had safety help over the top. You're going to see a couple linemen that are down in three-point stands buzz underneath, trying to squeeze that football there. Very fortunate that was not an interception thrown by Williams.
That was Philip Henry, number 36, safety coming off that left edge. Punt from Cagle. take a Wildcat roll inside the 5. Well, South Carolina State hasn't been able to do much offensively. And that's going to be down at the 3 after a 52-yard punt.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. And Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
For the
Welcome back to ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's from Daytona Beach. This MEAC matchup, Bethune Cookman, thanks to a first quarter field goal, leading 3-0 over South Carolina State. Bulldogs about to begin their second possession. This was their first. It was the opening kickoff of the second half. Watch number 33, middle of your screen. He's the one called for the hold. Do you see him much there, Jay? Do you see a hold?
I think it's great footwork. His hands were a little bit wide, but I think he walled himself off where that defender was going to have to go through him anyway. Tough break.
That brought back what would have been a kickoff return for touchdown. They begin this drive inside their own 5 and pick up a yard there. And a run by Jalen Simmons, wrapped up by Kevin Thompson.
We mentioned how they've been calling everything tight, and you see the lack of offense for South Carolina State. Use that to your advantage if you're on offense. Throw the ball downfield, do some jump balls, and get some pass interference called. I mean, the officials have been consistently tight in this football game, and it's having an impact.
Simmons for 3, Trenton Bridges, Marquise Drayton with the tackle. Third down and 6 from their own 7-yard line. York from his own goal line. High pass, but caught for the first down at the 20 by Taquan West. Coverage there by Marquise Drayton. 14-yard pickup on third down to move the sticks.
And West has some playmaking potential. 12 catches on the season. With the loss of Michael Moody, you got to utilize his size. 6'4", 210-pound, man-to-man coverage. He can make a guy miss and hurt you.
Another pass, and that is Jamison, Leonard Jamison, right at the marker at the 35. Looks like he may have another first down. You mentioned Mikhail Moody, who's banged up, not playing tonight.
Jamison stepped up. Jamison can fly. He's found ways to get behind the secondary time and time again. But I think Moody being out, that's a big one. It's the go-to guy for Caleb York.
Last play, a gain of 12. First down. Official timeout here. We're having a problem with the sticks. We've got an issue with the chains, literally.
It's physical, Mark.
It's tangled up. Even the chain gang.
We're getting hit up here in the booth. I keep watching this. I may have a flashback, Mark, and try and take it out on you. And
so they're taping up the chains. That's how physical it's gotten. The chains are being taped up. You don't see that every day. Well, while we got a moment, Jay, why don't you give me 5 best HBCU nicknames? And are you kidding me? Sweetness is number 5?
Number 5. It's your nickname in college. Sweetness was number 5. Number 4 is Hollywood Henderson, went to Langston University. 3 is Too Tall Jones. Number 2 is Willie Satellite Cotton. Jerry Rice is quarterback of Mississippi Valley. I'll tell you number 1 coming back after this play. You saw it.
First down from the 26. Taylor for a gain of about 9 to the 42. Oh, the Lord's Prayer.
I love that. I mean, they say our prayers were answered when Eldridge Dickey showed up on campus at Tennessee State University on the bubble. Superman Robert Kent from Jackson State.
Air McNair?
Air McNair on the bubble. And Shaq Harris, my godfather Shaq, Grambling legend, predecessor to Doug Williams. I like that nickname, Shaq.
Dondre Lewis Freeman.
There's a nickname missing from them, Mark.
I can only imagine, since you're the one that made it up, you probably know.
Oh, you think Sky? I wasn't talking about Sky.
Oh,
I was saying Deacon
Sky Walker.
Sky Walker should be up there too, but I'm thinking Deacon Jones. But I didn't put Deacon on there because he didn't become Deacon Jones until he made it to the NFL. So these were college names.
So they were all called those nicknames in college.
Yes.
Adrian Collick in now as the quarterback for Buddy Pugh. There is a flag at the snap. Been a while since we had a false start.
False start, offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And one on left guard, Justin Evans.
And some of these are just, you call them mental errors. When you're the left guard, you're right next to the center. You see the football in front of you. But when you're playing a team that's your equal on the field and taking you to your limit, you tend to make those type of mental mistakes.
12 penalties against South Carolina State tonight for 102 yards. And we still have over 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. Play fake, hit as he throws, a strike and a completion. That's to the tight end, to Merrick Hemingway, gain of 8. And we got a gain of 13, just too shy of the first down.
And we're starting to see Caleb York grow as a quarterback. Getting hit, starting to see the pressure, standing tall in the pocket, selling his feet, and making some better ball deliveries. The young freshman is maturing before our eyes.
First down run, Simmons getting a block on the edge, uses a stiff arm, and is run out of bounds inside the 30 by Jocelyn Borgella. Run of 17.
Be careful, because they called a stiff arm penalty earlier.
They turned it into a face mask, yeah.
They're calling it tight, but this is what you need. If York can complete some passes, and Jalen Simmons, nice cut to the outside, finish off the run, push on the helmet there. And South Carolina State, the most impressive drive of the game thus far.
This drive began at their own 3. They're at the 30, first down at the 30 of Bethune-Cookman. A strike to Hemingway, spins away from a defender, down the sideline, inside the 10, lost the football out of bounds. They're going to mark him out at the 9. It'll be first and goal, Bulldogs. Donald Smith punched it out, but punched it out of bounds. 21-yard gain.
Hemingway played basketball. Watch him gear down with his feet, fake to the inside, and then spin move on the back door. Nice move. Good job by Hemingway, the senior from Loris, South Carolina.
First and goal in motion. They fake the jet sweep. It's kept by Collick. He's to the 5. Forward progress stopped there. 4-yard run for the quarterback, Adrian Collick.
I like the idea of going to Collick once you get down inside the 5-yard line. The threat of the run a little bit more. Give him another zone read option. And he's proven more than capable as a passer. So if you're Bethune-Cookman, you can't sell out trying to stop the run.
Collick pitches. Samuel now in the game. Trey Samuel with his first carry tonight. And actually what is a forward pass and a gain of 1 to the 4.
You know, it goes back to this is a Florida-based team. Bethune-Cookman has speed sideline to sideline. If you're South Carolina State, you want to run the football, you have to pound the ball straight ahead, take advantage of their youthfulness on the defensive line. But you can't beat them when it comes to an all-out foot race. Too much team speed for the Wildcats.
This is the 12th play of the drive. The drive began at their own 3. 3rd and goal from the 4. Here's the pass to the end zone, all alone, touchdown to Quan West. 4-yard touchdown to West. That's his first touchdown catch of the season, and it gives South Carolina State the lead.
Caleb York, they snuck him into the game at quarterback, stood tall in the pocket and delivered a key touchdown pass for the Bulldogs.
Tyler Scandrett's point after, and did that go left? He just snuck it in the upright and makes it a 7-3 game. 12-play drive that went 97 yards. York to West, and the Bulldogs have the lead.
We're all familiar.
From Daytona Beach, time to bring the flavor, brought to you by McDonald's. band from Orangeburg. The Marching 101 is here tonight.
And that means so much because HBCU football, the pageantry involved in it, I mean, the band is part of the culture. You know, they're part of everything that gets everybody excited. Your university makes an investment to bring them down there to support your team on the road, and a tough place to win a football game. The football players, they feel off of that. They score a touchdown, they start to get hyped up about it, and that's a good thing and a good move by South Carolina State.
There's Tompkins, Marquis Drayton back deep to receive this Tyler Scandred kick. Drayton takes it from the 4. Marquis to the 20, 25, and flipped down at the 27-yard line. Well, it's Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo as 12th ranked and undefeated Florida State takes on Miami. They're looking to snap a 5-game losing streak to their rivals. Miami, Florida State, Saturday 8 Eastern. ABC.
I love Kaya, quarterback, but is there a more underrated team than Florida State? And this team has lost 1 football game and 2. Is it going on 33 years,
of their
like
last
that?
34 they've won.
And they're ranked outside the top 10. Lack of respect.
They've won 26 consecutive ACC games. Jordan to the 32 for 5. Javon Hargrave, big number 97, wrapped him up.
This will be interesting to see what South Carolina State does defensively. They've gone to a little bit more pressure with their linebackers blitzing than they have. Now that they have a lead, do they sit back and play traditional coverage and allow the front 4 to dictate the football game?
Williams hands off to Jordan, running left and barrels over the defender Davius Chestnut, and he has a first down at the 40-yard line. Eventually tackled by Chris Pauling, a gain of 8.
Wow. I mean, this is a grown man run right here. Look at Jordan. Chestnut's coming up in the field from a strong safety position, head down, which you never do. Chestnut had his head down and got trucked, and he paid the price for it.
You know, they taught our generation to tackle like that, but that obviously is not the way you're supposed to do it these days, is it?
Heads up football, not heads down.
That's the way it is these days, and appropriately so. The run for Anthony Jordan, stapled down by Deshaun Taylor at the 44.
Jordan's running like a guy that's been in the program for 6 years, isn't he? Strong, running through arm tackles. He knows what's at stake.
He's a power back, man. He is what he is.
Likes to mix it up.
He had a rushing touchdown last week at North Carolina Central, his 31st rushing touchdown of his career. Jones to the 48. Darius Leonard, Greg Newell stopping him for a gain of 4. The guy that in the notes they still refer to as Michael D. Jones because there was a Michael J. Jones who was a lineman here for a few years. He has since transferred, but once you go in the stats with an initial, it's staying for the rest of your playing career.
Lots of play action here for South Carolina State.
Williams, play fake, kept it, takes off, has room to the 30, 25, inside the 20, and finally brought down at the 13-yard line by Devondre Powell. And Williams with a run of 41 yards.
Effective runner, called his own number, great ball handling skills in the backfield, pulls it out of the stomach, options the in man on the line of scrimmage, Chris Pauling, the safety, throws him in his tracks, and then great athleticism by Williams as he picks up every inch of real estate he can running the football.
First down, Bethune Cookman at the South Carolina State 13. That zone read went for 41 yards. We haven't seen Larry Brim at all tonight. I've seen him loosen it on the sideline a time or two, but it's been all Quentin Williams, the quarterback for Bethune Cookman. Here's the pitch. Jones hit hard inside the 5, lost the football. It was out of bounds. Well, the ball was laying right near the pylon. Philip Henry pushed him out. And the players went flying through the sideline, and the football was laying there near the sideline by the pylon. Clock running, just over 2.5 minutes left. With 3 tight ends, the power back. Jones hitting the backfield, falls forward and maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Deshaun Taylor hit him first. There's a flag in the end zone.
Somewhere in the secondary, Bethune Cookman leads the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference in penalties every year for the past 4 or 5 years. See if this is against the Wildcats. If so, it could be costly.
Well, the tight end Loomis was matched up with Devondre Powell on the near side.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense 19. Gets it to the goal, automatic.
And that's on Devondre Powell, who again was defending Loomis. At the half, the distance to the goal isn't a whole lot, but it is first and goal from the 1.
And what a poor mistake by Powell with that penalty. Tackle for loss negated, becomes a first down Bethune.
Handoff, Anthony Jordan to the edge, and he's kept from the end zone by Deshaun Taylor, and he loses a yard.
I'm running Anthony Jordan again. I mean, the physical back, run him straight ahead. No need to get fancy with this. 220-pound running back that's been running hard all night. I'd like to see him get a carry in this situation.
Now they're going to call a timeout.
Bethune as their first team timeout.
They use their first timeout. Well, they've run 8 plays on this drive, and they've kept it on the ground all 8. A 9th one upcoming on 2nd and goal when we come back to Daytona Beach. South Carolina State scored on a 97-yard drive on their last possession to take a 7-3 lead, but now Bethune-Cookman has its 2nd and goal from the 2. They've been running power the last couple of plays, Jay. It hasn't worked well, but you think another try, but this time with Anthony Jordan, could be the answer.
They've been running off tackle a little bit. I think you need to run straight ahead. He's proven he can get those tough yards in between the tackles. The defensive line likes to stunt like Bethune, like South Carolina State. I think you need to catch them going sideways and push them back in the end zone.
After the Bethune-Cookman timeout, handoff. This is Jordan running left, got by the first defender, but then is met by a swarm of tacklers. Deshaun Taylor and Philip Henry. Davius Chestnut lost his helmet. He's going to have to come off for at least a play.
So did James Settles, number 96, the defensive tackle.
Hargrave back in there now. He was not in the last couple of plays. And a 3rd and goal from the 2 coming. Jordan in the backfield, 2 receivers left. One at the bottom of the screen in motion. Fake the handoff to Jordan. Williams hit as he throws into the end zone. Touchdown. A tumbling catch and touchdown grab by Jaquan Loomis.
Quinn Williams. That's all Quinn Williams there. Great job by Loomis making the catch, but Williams turns his back to the defense. And the play action, turns around, gets popped, puts enough air on the ball. Great job of getting open by Loomis for the touchdown.
2nd touchdown catch of the year for Loomis. The other came in their 56-53 win at Grambling State in week 2. And a point after for Hernandez goes left, but is good. And the touchdown makes it 10-7. Williams hit there by Deshaun Taylor as he threw that pass, but found Loomis in the end zone. Bethune-Cookman, Jay, answers the South Carolina State touchdown with their first touchdown of the game.
Impressive drive coming down. And Quinn Williams been playing at a high level. He called his own number in the running game, standing tall in the pocket versus the blitz. And that's what you have to do. You have to answer. This type of game, when the other team starts to heat up, your offense has to come up with a good drive. And I'm very impressed with the job of Quinn Williams on that last series.
Just over a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Loomis, the 2-yard touchdown catch. Antonio Hamilton back deep. Hamilton, who had a kickoff return for touchdown called back to begin the second half. Line drive hit to him at the 7. Hamilton to the 25, makes a move to the 30. Developed there at the 30-yard line by Leroy Holt. Another look at the TD here, Jay.
Yeah, let's see. He's coming across in motion. We've got Loomis in the three-point stance. Just rubs off, and there's too many people in that one area out of position. It's Kendrick Gaithers, the freshman free safety, making a freshman mistake. Lost leverage on the tight end. And that's how Loomis was able to get open in the end zone.
South Carolina State, their first 6 possessions of the game resulted in punts. Their last possession, they went 97 yards in 12 plays for a touchdown. They begin this drive at their own 30. York's the quarterback. He throws the screen. Jamison avoided the first tackler, but then falls down at the 31 for just a gain of 1.
You see the confidence they have in the freshman quarterback, Caleb York. Bulldog team that wants to throw the football, keeping him in the contest. He had a best drive of the game. The last time he had the football, can he stay hot?
Play fake, throws, strike. West makes a spin move to midfield. Still on his feet before he's brought down at the Bethune-Cookman 41 by Borgila and Jason Smith, a 28-yard gain.
Taquan West is the guy that they said they needed him to make plays. You know, this season going into it, they needed him to make plays, step up with Michael Moody out. West is a nice target, and senior from Lexington's having a good ball game.
West now at the top of the screen. This is a handoff. Simmons running right. The flag comes down. He's hit and tackled at the 26. A couple of flags fly. There's a helmet also on the ground. The Bethune-Cookman player lost his helmet. That's.
Now I wonder if they're going to call the helmet violation. You know, when your helmet comes off, you're supposed to stop.
Yes.
If you continue to play, they can flag you for it.
It was a Treyu Ferrier who lost the helmet. He may have continued to play. Let's see if that was the issue. But you're right, Jay. When the helmet comes off, you have to give yourself up. You're done with the play, or it's a penalty.
We see multiple flags, so I don't know if that's the only call that was made on that play.
Robert Frazier, our referee tonight. We got our mic issue worked out from earlier.
Out on the play. Offense, 24. Foul, participation without a helmet, defense. Those penalties will offset. We'll replay the down. First down.
Well, we did get that call against Ferrier, but also a hold against Leonard Jamison of South Carolina State. So offsetting penalties. And we'll replay the down.
So number 46 right in the middle of the frame. Helmet gets knocked off. He has to stop. But he continues to run. And actually, the runner, it's a good thing he kept running, because I actually think Jalen Simmons felt him coming and changed directions. But that's why they have that rule, because it could have been ugly had Simmons decided to run after him.
Not much there. Back to the line of scrimmage. No gain for York. We had 14 penalties called in the first half. We had 4 total penalties here in the second half. We have come to a end of this third quarter. It's been a good football game, a battle for the MEAC. Each team with a touchdown in the third, and it's a 3-point lead for Bethune-Cookman as we'll go to the fourth in Daytona Beach.
Cal.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by McDonald's.
Ready to start the fourth quarter. 10-7 Bethune-Cookman leading South Carolina State. Jay, in the first half combined 287 yards of total offense for the two teams. We had 250 in the third quarter alone. Offense is picking up. West trying to diving catch, saying he held on, and they're saying it is a catch. And a first down at the 22-yard line of Bethune-Cookman.
And West is really playing a good football game, but a good job by York throwing to the soft spot of the defense. Chuck and duck throw. West lays out, secures the football.
He moved a little there at the end, but the play, Jalen Simmons tackled by Arthur Williams. So they quickly got to the line and ran a play.
And They got up to the line of scrimmage right away. He has the ball. It moved when the defender poked it, I think.
That's true.
I think that was a good grab by West.
That was a 19-yard gain, but now on 2nd down and 9, Justin Taylor wrapped up. That's Robert Way. That's a loss of a couple of yards.
South Carolina State has to make the adjustment. Bethune Cookman, once they got the ball close, started crowding the line of scrimmage, leaving the middle of the field wide open, letting you know if you throw the football, we're going to blitz and hit your quarterback. You're going to have to trust the freshman to make a play. South Carolina State goes with different personnel, but it still seems like Bethune Cookman is going to bring the pressure on York.
4 and 10 on 3rd down tonight. The Bulldogs 3rd and 12. Here's the throw to the near sideline and catch by West, but it's short of the 1st down at the 15. About 3 yards shy. Do you go for the game-tying field goal here? And the answer looks like it will be yes.
Both defenses are playing so well. You don't want to shortchange any defense the opportunity to win the football game. If you can tie this game up, you have to take advantage of it and take the points if you can get them.
Tyler Scandrett, 4 of 5 on field goal attempts this year, as long a 38-yarder. The one missed this year came from 42. This is a 32-yard attempt out of the hold. Jerome Petaway, and that one is going to go way right. No good. Not even close. And South Carolina State comes up with an empty possession, and it stays a 3-point lead for Bethune-Cookman early in the 4th.
Define the fabric.
Well, our crew yesterday had a chance to ride along over at the track here in Daytona. I would have liked to have joined them for that. That looks like a lot of fun.
Mark, I've ridden in a car with you before.
Yes.
You're definitely no speed demon.
No.
You're very, very safe in a car.
But on the track, you can let loose a little bit. And here in Daytona, it's not been a track meet. It's only a 10-7 game, but a missed 32-yard field goal by Tyler Scandrett has kept it a 10-7 game. Bethune-Cookman taking over. The rush for Michael Jones for 2. Stopped by Greg Newell. Inside the first couple of minutes of this 4th quarter.
And Bethune's best offense has been Anthony Jordan. He's gone over 100 yards in this ball game. Good, hard running. But I still think the wide receiver is going to have to make a play in space. A bubble screen or something vertical where you allow your speedy wide receivers to create a missed tackle in the open field.
Williams throws, and it's his man, Jontavius Carter, who drags a couple of carriers, tacklers that is, all the way up to the 46-yard line before he's bumped down by Powell. And Deshaun Taylor, first catch of the night for the redshirt junior, Jontavius Carter. His 4th catch of the year. He's been a guy that averaged 36 yards a catch, and that one went for 24.
One of the speedy guys they talked about, get them the ball in space. So I think now you have a 3-point lead during the 4th quarter. You stick with your original game plan, the strength of your team, particularly against a very aggressive defensive front from South Carolina State, is get the ball to playmakers in the open field.
Handed off to Anthony Jordan. Stopped up right at the line of scrimmage by several Bulldogs, including Greg Newell, once again, number 59. Hargrave not in the game right now for South Carolina State. We've seen him leave the field a couple of times with a little hitch in his giddy-up for sure.
If he leaves, as long as you keep Newell out there and Settles and the other starters out there, you give yourself a chance. I just think it may be smart substitute. They might have changed up the patterns of how they use him.
Here comes the blitz, and Williams just threw it in the direction of a receiver, but Jalen Kuzar, number 99, was the one right on top of him.
And Kuzar, the young freshman, true freshman out of Matthews, North Carolina, who's been getting some reps and getting better as the season has progressed with the pressure on Quentin Williams forcing him to get rid of the football.
3rd down and 10. 4-12 tonight on third down. The Wildcats against South Carolina State's defense came into this game allowing opponents to convert only 20% of the time on third down. Williams chased again by Owens. Lets it go and has a man right near the marker, but he dropped it. Incomplete. Michael Jones juggled it. Had he hung on, had the first down, but Tyler Smith was right in the path and hanging on to quarterback Williams.
One of the few times they use a dime package and it pays off. Tyler Smith played defensive end instead of his normal linebacker position, able to get enough pressure to disrupt the pass from Quentin Williams and force Bethune Cookman to punt.
Boy, Williams just getting that ball near Jones was incredible.
He's an underrated athlete, Williams is. Good mobility, nice arm, good decision maker.
2 punt returners back, Antonio Hamilton and Leonard Jamison. And Jamison faked it. It's hit to the far side. And this is Hamilton coming down through the middle of the field, and he's got blockers. Hamilton is into the end zone, touchdown. A great fake. Leonard Jamison acted like the ball was coming to the near side, but it went to the far side. And it's a 75-yard punt return touchdown for Antonio Hamilton.
Great job by design. They confused the punt cover team. Watch the black jerseys go to the left because you have Jamison on the left side. He's going to get wiped out. You take those 5 jerseys over there, the ball's on the top of your screen to Hamilton. Hamilton runs through that tackle, and he's got 4.3 speed. Becomes a foot race that he's going to win. But great design by South Carolina State on special teams with the huge play to give the Bulldogs their first lead of this game.
I think Utah did that in the game against Oregon. Hamilton needed some time where he got helped up, and then he went to the sideline and took another seat.
That's his second return.
The other one was called back.
The other one was called back. This one counts, and he also is their starting cornerback, and he was a All-American return man a season ago.
I think the Seattle Seahawks also did this in the NFL, this fake. And Hamilton and South Carolina State turned it into a 75-yard punt return touchdown. It was the first time tonight that they had 2 punt returners back. Maybe that should have been our first clue that something was going to be up. But they are reviewing here to see if Hamilton perhaps stepped out of bounds before making it into the end zone.
First, he fields it cleanly, and I think second is, he's not even close. Running through the arm tackle was the key. The ability to run through the arm tackle.
Murphy Allen had him by the shirt tail back there at the beginning of the return. Did he step out? No. Nope. That should be a clean touchdown.
And that's really, you know, when you talk to Buddy Pugh about Hamilton, they say he's such a smart guy. They said he's going to end up in NFL camp. He's taking the pre-test and the Wonderlic and all that. He's going to do well on that.
Touchdown.
And he can run. I mean, he's got 4.3 speed, return guy. So, and he did the smart thing by fielding the ball quickly. If you've got 2 returners out there, run over, get to the football, and get a return. And the Bulldogs have finally taken the lead.
Well, they already reviewed the play, which stands as an 82-yard punt return for touchdown.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a touchdown.
So a review of the review confirmed again, it's a touchdown. 82 yards officially for Antonio Hamilton.
He's hurting over there. He needs to get some fluids in his system because he does start a cornerback.
Point after, Scandrett to hold down from Petaway. It's good. And South Carolina State with a 14-10 lead.
When the defenses are playing lockdown, you need a big play from your special teams. Give the advantage to South Carolina State as the Bulldogs finally take the lead.
You know,
well, when South Carolina State scored their first touchdown of the game, they took a brief 7-3 lead, but Bethune Cookman came right back, scored a touchdown of their own to reclaim the lead. But now, with that punt return touchdown for Antonio Hamilton of 82 yards. It's South Carolina State leading again at 14-10. And they will kick off with 10:43 still to play in this fourth quarter from Daytona Beach. Great to have you with us along with Jay Walker and our crew here in Daytona Beach. I'm Mark Neely. Short kick taken at the 8. There is a flag. It looked like one of the South Carolina State players was offsides on that kick. Up to the 33. Tackled by Brock. See if they'll make him kick it again.
If you're Bethune Cookman, that's a pretty good return you've got there.
Get the call here. It looked very obvious that one of the players was at least a couple of yards offside. It wasn't even close of the kick.
Offsides by the kicking team. Appeal will be administered from the end of the run, 5 yards, first down.
So they'll take the 5-yard penalty to add to the run. 14th penalty against South Carolina State. Well, coming up Friday at 8 Eastern, the 2015 Geico High School Football Showcase on ESPNU. Matchup of New Jersey schools, Bergen Catholic and DePaul Catholic, exclusively on ESPNU and streaming live on Watch ESPN. So good starting field position after the return and the penalty. 14 now for 109 yards. They're on 38. Here's the pitch. Anthony Jordan ankle tackled in the backfield by Shaquan Brock, number 29. Also Hamilton was in the area. Actually Hamilton, I should say, not in the football game. So he's still getting a breather on the sideline.
Good thing for Bethune-Cookman fans, this is a fourth quarter football team. They get off to slow starts, but they finish strong. Down by 4 at home, you have to think this offense is going to find a way to put more points on the board.
Williams drops back, steps up, and he throws deep. Broken up at the 12-yard line. Drayshawn Nelson, the intended receiver, and Davius Chestnut had the coverage. Manned up.
One-on-one coverage, good job by Chestnut, but we talked about the fact that Bethune-Cookman is off to a 4-1 start because they simply dominate in the fourth quarter. They've scored 56 points this season in the fourth quarter alone. Compare that to their slow starts in the first quarter and their slow start out of the locker room. This is when the Wildcats are dangerous.
They're facing a 3rd down and 11. Williams with time. Throws to the near side. High, incomplete. Jawil Davis is the intended receiver, but it was well over his head. Kendrick gathers with the coverage, and it's 4th down. Well, Hamilton has come back on the field to return this punt. This time he's the lone punt returner to take this punt from Jonathan Cagle.
And I think he should earn your respect. That I don't think you should kick it to him. I think your directional punt somewhere around the 30-yard line out of bounds, sacrifice the 5 or 6 yards in field position.
That, by the way, was just the second 3 and out for the Bethune-Cookman offense tonight, and Hamilton with the fair catch at the 19-yard line. 43-yard punt with no return. Caleb York, the starting quarterback for South Carolina State. We've seen Collick tonight, but York's been effective here in the second half, Jim.
Played very well in the second half. He seemed a little rattled in the first half. He was getting hit a lot. They were applying pressure to him, but he started settling down, going through his reads and progressions, and actually has been the difference maker there. We've seen him grow before our very eyes in this second half of football. Holding on to a 4-point lead, he must continue to play mature. And now with the lead in bad field position, ball security becomes the key.
And only 5 yards passing in the first half, over 100 so far here in the second half. York kept it and is dropped for a loss. That is the first sack of the night for Bethune-Cookman, and it comes for Tavon Butler.
Great penetration up the middle that really created that. Tavon Butler chased him down, forced York to pull it, and then he does a good job of not giving up on the play. That's a fantastic individual effort by Butler. Butler's an interesting story. He came to this program his first year in the program, played at Payne College. Payne College dropped football, so those guys became immediately eligible, so he moved up from Division II to the FCS level.
Justin Taylor carries to the sideline. Out of bounds about the 23. That's only the 5th sack allowed by South Carolina State all season.
Caleb York has a quick release, gets rid of the ball, and he relies so much on his pre-snap read like a lot of young quarterbacks do. If it's not there, they tell him, rely on your pre-snap read. You don't like what you see, get rid of it. He's done a good job, so let you know what a play it was by Butler.
3rd down and long. York losing his helmet was West, and then he went after the football. No flag. I assumed that he lost the helmet in the process of diving. Otherwise, that would be the penalty that we talked about earlier, where you can't continue to play after you lose your helmet. No flag. 4th down then.
Good job by Bethune Cookman. Jeremy Davis on the coverage. The pressure was on the Wildcats. They needed to get a 3-and-out. They delivered. See if their special teams can help them keep good field position.
Penaway punting with Frank Brown at his own 40. And a whistle, no flag at the snap.
Delay game. Offense number 17. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Didn't get it off in time.
And you just can't have that. I mean, Bethune Cookman is already going to get good field position. The return man is standing on the 40-yard line. Now he's going to come inside the 40 with any type of decent return. You're already in South Carolina State territory, putting more pressure on your defense. A tight ball game, every yard counts. Ask Bethune Cookman about last week in North Carolina Central.
High snap with the punt away for Petaway after the 15th penalty of the night against South Carolina State. The fair catch called for by Brown at their own 48-yard line. A 35-yard punt with no return. 8:21 to play when we come back to Daytona Beach.
College Game Day live from Salt Lake City, Saturday at 9 a.m. on ESPN.
Cheerleaders with the pink bows, the pink eye black, as this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Jay.
What's it all about this year? It's all about the celebration, Mark Gray. Celebration Bowl, champion of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, take on the champion of the SWAC in Atlanta, Georgia. December 19th, historic.
CelebrationBowl.com. You can go online, get your tickets. Of course, no automatic berth to the FCS playoffs any longer for the MEAC. Gave that up. Great starting field position from their own 48 for the Wildcats, who trailed it by 4. Handed off to Anthony Jordan. He's stacked up right at midfield for a gain of 1.
You know, we were talking in between the break, you and I and the spot of Chuck, we were saying that you're Bethune Cookman, why aren't you giving the ball number 1? Got 100 yards rushing, but at the same time, if you give the ball number 1, you're running at the strength of the Bethune Cookman, of the South Carolina State defense, which is their D-line and their linebackers. So he went over 100, now he's going back with some losses.
Javon Hargrave, by the way, not in there for South Carolina State. Pass completed to Michael Jones. He'll have a first down up to the 40 of South Carolina State. Marquise Jones lost his helmet. He will come out of the game for a play.
It seems as if, I don't know if we're going to see Hargrave the rest of this game. He got injured going into halftime. Tried to come out in the second half. It's been tough, and he's been out for quite some time now.
First down at the 40 of the Bulldogs. In motion comes Mike Jones. Williams scrambling right, throws a bullet that's off the hands of the intended receiver Kevon Mitchell. Stopping the clock with 7:16 to go.
And what you're seeing now is with Hargrave out of the game, we're starting to see Reggie Owens really start to turn it on from his defensive end position. It's a good look there at James Settles, with Owens 42 right there in man line of scrimmage. He's gotten plenty of penetration in previous 2 pass attempts.
Hamilton, number 13, also in the game. And that's a run straight up the middle by Jordan. And he'll have a first down to the 23, 24-yard line. A 17-yard gallop for Jordan.
Well, Chuck was right. He said, why not give the ball to Anthony Jordan? Just running through an arm tackle right up the middle. Hargrave out of the football game. They're attacking, and another big run that puts Jordan over 100 yards again.
Jordan again with the carry for 3 to the 20. Clock winding, under 7 minutes to go. Is this a touchdown or bust drive, Jay, or too early for that?
Depends on what your fourth down is. If it's 4th and 4, then I think you take the points and rely on your defense, get the ball back. 4th and 1, I think you go for it.
2nd and 7 here. Handed off Michael Jones to the edge. To the 17. Hit there by Antonio Hamilton to pick up a 3. It's going to be 3rd and call it 4.
Big play call here. You have to think that South Carolina State's going to key in on the running game, but right now, Anthony Jordan not in the backfield. They're tipping their hand a little bit, maybe showing they're going to do something on the perimeter, whether it be a zone read or a pass.
Jones in motion out of the backfield. Williams keeps it, throws to Jones at the 10. Bounces off a tackler as the first down inside the 5, down at the 2. 1st and goal Wildcats. Darius Leonard saved the touchdown with the tackle inside the 5.
They knew they could get one-on-one with Jones on the outside in motion. Runs through the missed tackle by Philip Henry, and then almost gets into the end zone. Darius Leonard with the touchdown saving tackle. Well, Michael Jones, good story. Former walk-on. Earned himself a scholarship and now a regular contributor.
Williams keeping, running to the edge. A stiff arm, lunges near the pylon, touchdown. Well, it was Hamilton who had him on the edge. But then Williams with a stiff arm got to the pylon, reached, and got it over.
Underrated athlete. Quentin Williams gets to the outside, and does he want it? Does he know what's at stake? Anthony Hamilton, who's had a fantastic game thus far, not able to keep Quentin Williams out of the end zone, would not be denied. Holds on to the football for the score.
Ariel Hernandez for the point after to make it a 3-point game. And he knocks it through. Big play, just for the fact, Jay, that think about all their plays inside the 10-yard line tonight. They've really bogged down inside the 10.
Been very tough sledding, but give head coach Terry Sims and the offensive coordinator Jim Pry allow your playmaker to make a play in the first quarter. Wildcats up by 3.
I take 5.
Well, we've just had our 4th lead change of this game. This was just a 3-0 contest at the half in favor of Bethune-Cookman. Offenses have opened it up a little bit here. It's a 17-14 Bethune-Cookman lead. 5:14 to go. Bethune-Cookman kicking it away to the Bulldogs. Hamilton is back deep. He's been special on the returns tonight. He's returned 2, though one was called back on penalty. Juggled it at the 3. Flag, he's up to the 25. It's against South Carolina State. The 16th penalty against the Bulldogs tonight.
During the return, illegal block in the back. 32 by the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, coming up Saturday night on ESPN, college football primetime presented by Hilton. Arkansas takes on 8th-ranked Alabama at 7 Eastern time. And then at 10 Eastern, a huge Pac-12 battle between unbeaten's 23rd-ranked Cal takes on 5th-ranked Utah. The doubleheader again starts at 7 Eastern Saturday night on ESPN, and also streaming live on Watch ESPN.
Long day in Salt Lake City. Game day crew will be out there in the morning, and then primetime football.
Well, after their 15th penalty, they have to begin this drive at their own 5. Caleb York from his end zone. The cut off the hands of West at the 20, incomplete. There's a flag down in the end zone. If it's a hold in the end zone, it would be a safety.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 58. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
Well, against Jamal Thomas, defensive tackle for Bethune-Cookman, so it's on the defense. And that'll march it off to the 20, where it is a first down for South Carolina State.
And look curious as to, do you go with York in the game, or do you bring in Collett? So right there in the middle, 55, you see the penalty there. He's allowed to stay in the game because it came off by penalty.
Again for West, incomplete at the 40. Coverage by Elliott Miller.
I think you throw him for a curveball. I think you bring in Collett. He's been in these type of games before, a little bit more experience. The defense changes so much when York is in the game right now. They're going small, they're playing their nickel package on you, anticipating the pass. So if you're going to have York in and run the ball, that's one thing. But I think Collett's ability to run the football is more of a threat to this defense than York throwing.
Handed off Jalen Simmons, stood up at the 20-yard line by Robert Way. Maybe 1 yard after the impressive tackle by number 11 Way.
Right now, a lot of pressure. A freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, Caleb York.
3rd and 9, clock running, under 4.5 minutes to go. This battle in the MEAC between two of the heavyweights. York steps up, lets it go. The short pass to Jamison, who's tackled at the 22 for just a gain of 1, and it's 4th down. Davon Butler with the tackle. That try was helped by the personal foul penalty against Bethune-Cookman, but it stalls quickly. And out comes the punting unit. Clock running under 4 minutes. South Carolina State has all 3 of their timeouts.
And you have to realize that I would not take my time getting out on the field with special teams. I'd have them run out on the field and try and get that ball snapped with 25 seconds left. They're going to snap this ball away with less than 10 seconds.
Punt from Petaway, a high punt. Lands at the 41. And is down there. 37-yard punt. Down by Tyler Smith. Both these teams unbeaten in conference play. Bethune-Cookman, Morgan State, Norfolk State 2-0. You have South Carolina State with North Carolina A&T 1-0. Bethune-Cookman's trying to go to 3-0 in conference play, become the first team to do that and go to 5-1 overall. And upcoming in the MEAC, how about that North Carolina A&T against Norfolk State game in Norfolk?
I think the surprise team thus far has been Norfolk State, knocking off Hampton as well as Howard at Howard's homecoming. A&T seems to be one of the cream of the crop in that. And how about Morgan State? You know, falling under the radar a little bit. They are the defending champion from a season ago. They won the tiebreaker. They're still undefeated in conference play. Coach Lee Holt thinks the Bears are underrated and they have a chance of repeating as MEAC champions.
Williams hands it off to Jordan, running left towards the sideline and goes out of bounds. Late flag on a face mask, it appeared, from Darius Leonard, number 10. This will be the 17th penalty against the Bulldogs tonight.
Nobody saw that coming, particularly Buddy Pugh.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 34. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
At the end of this run, Jordan's trying to gear down Darius Leonard and got caught in the face mask. They have to call that. It was a good job by the senior Jordan trying to go down inbounds that induced that penalty.
Javon Hargrave is back into the game for South Carolina State. Play clock still at 13, so game clock running now just over 3 minutes. Bethune-Cookman wants to eat as much of that play clock as they can. Snap it with 5. Run straight ahead to the 37. Jalen Kuzar stopping Jordan for a gain of 2. Now South Carolina State's got to use their first timeout.
It's time to use the timeouts. And we saw that picture in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. I think one thing we talked about, Celebration Bowl is the key. And one thing that South Carolina State decided to do is, just in case they don't make it to the Celebration Bowl, play a pretty tough non-conference schedule. That's why they took on Coastal Carolina, top 3 teams in the country in FCS. They took on Furman, a Furman team where they thought they could have won that game and didn't score twice having the ball on the 1-yard line. But he thought if we win one of those games and if something shakes down like it did last year with that tie-break scenario, although the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference no longer has the automatic qualifier, you talk about a team that goes 9-2, 8-3 with a quality victory like that would have an opportunity for an at-large bid. Right now, they can't find a way to get this football back and win this football game. They're going to be in the trail position, trailing Bethune Cookman. I'd like to say right now, what time is it, Mark? It's hammer time.
Anthony Jordan.
You would think so. Heavy doses of it.
Well, kept by Williams on the zone read, and he stood up at the 35-yard line by Cravens and Leonard. Gain of 1. And the Bulldogs will use their second timeout to stop it with 2:44 to go.
And the fact they still have another timeout, really, you have to start thinking this is the game of chess. Do you pass the ball and allow them to keep a timeout, or do you run it and force them to use that last one? This is what the Bulldogs have done thus far. Coastal Carolina, cream of the crop FCS. They're beating a lot of teams. Furman, that loss at Furman hurt. 17-3, they left 14 points on the board when they couldn't score from the 1-yard line. And they fell behind early 10-0 in that game. Howard, take on Howard. I don't know if they'll win that game. You think South Carolina State will beat Howard? I can't go on record saying they're going to beat Howard. Delaware State has, so this is a big game.
Well, best case scenario, they're going to get the ball back with no timeouts. Somewhere around 2.5 minutes left. And that's a best case scenario. Probably not great field position.
Who do you go to a quarterback?
Good question. Well, 3rd down and 7. Showing blitz. Here they come off the edge. It's handed off and stuffed right at the 35 by Javon Hargrave, who had his helmet knocked off there at the end.
You know, and we know Hargrave has been banged up, but this is effort. This is a great play he just made on this last play. He's going to stand up his guy and make a one-arm tackle almost like Reggie White. Watch Hargrave. Stand him up underneath him. He'll reach out, arm tackle as he's being held and make that tackle on a pretty good running back with just one arm. Leaving it up all on the field.
You know, I had his helmet knocked off, but they call a timeout, so it's a moot point. I mean, he could stay in the game if need be, but man, look, he's hurt. Well, what's ahead for the Wildcats?
They're hot right now.
Looking for their 5th straight win after the loss to Miami to begin the season.
Yeah, I think maybe, you know, they stumbled. They haven't been pretty with it. I mean, Lane College, Division II school, they lost 7. They beat them 7-3. That was close. They snuck out of Durham with that victory there, and they're continuing to ride that tidal wave, looking at their 5th straight win. If they can get off to a 5-1 start, woo, Wildcats, maybe thinking Atlanta.
Well, Hamilton, who has an 82-yard punt return for touchdown back, but this ball is going to be booted towards the end zone to take a bounce for Bethune-Cookman and be down at the 6-yard line. Murphy Allen downs it, 29-yard punt, and a beauty for Jonathan Cagle. Well, this was a 3-0 game at the half in favor of Bethune-Cookman. And here in the second half, York just stuck him back into the game when he found West for a touchdown. And then Williams. And that was to Loomis. And this is the punt return. It faked this all out, Jay.
It did. 2 return men back. You see Number 24 go down, but Antonio Hamilton has the ball on the top of the screen, and great return.
There's a pass across the middle, and that finds Hemingway. He's wrestled down all the way up at the 40. Well, keep in mind, South Carolina State went 97 yards on a drive tonight for a touchdown, and that eats up 33 right there.
They only need 3, but the kick was bad, so you have to be thinking, let's score this touchdown, get as close as we can.
To the edge, Jamison able to get out of bounds, but only gains about a yard. Run out by Borgella. Stopping the clock with 2:10 to go. Again, no timeouts for the Bulldogs.
And Caleb York gets away with more bad decisions than probably any quarterback I've seen. That last throw to Hemingway, he was covered. The linebacker buzzed underneath perfectly, but because he's so accurate, he was able to get the throw in there. I think as he matures, he'll start going to a secondary receiver.
I always say he did not get out, so clock running, under 2 minutes to go. York looking left, now looking across the middle of the field, and that's batted down. Wanted to go to Jamison at midfield. It was batted down there by Trenton Bridges.
Still look for your matchups. You've had a great day productivity-wise from Taquan West, big target on the outside. You can get him matched up with somebody. You've also got your 6'5" tight end and Merrick Hemingway, big guys that can run.
Obviously 4-down territory at this time of game. Let's see what they can eat up here to the sideline. Hemingway out of bounds at the 48, about 2 yards short. 7-yard gain. It's going to be 4th and a long 2, close to 3.
If you ask me, there's no question that Yogi Jones and Bethune Cookman are coming after Caleb York right now. 4th and 3. They haven't crossed the 50-yard line.
Game on the line right here for the Bulldogs. 4th down and 3. No timeouts at 1:45 to go. And a flag and a false start. Wow.
False start by the offense, number 73.
On Eric Dickerson. 18 penalties for 144 yards. And a 4th and 3 turns into 4th and 8.
They saw the blitz coming, but have to think about it. The guards, they were going to bring the A-gap blitz. Dickerson flinched. And you still keep the pressure on.
York trying to keep the game alive for South Carolina State. That's up for grabs, knocked down. And the Bulldogs will turn it over on downs. That was Elliott Miller, the guy who had the blocked field goal to win the game last week. And all he had to do was bat that down there, and he does so.
Pressure to him. You see, not bad protection, but forced to throw it early. Good job by Miller. Peeking in the backfield, gets enough football for the deflection. Bethune Cookman, pretty good shape right now. Just 38 seconds away from a victory over their conference rival.
Elliott Miller, as I mentioned, he was the hero at the end of the game last week with the blocked field goal. And he gets to put the little coup de grace on it again this week. And the victory formation for Bethune Cookman is South Carolina State cannot stop it.
Been a game where I think if you look back on, of course, everybody's going to talk about all the penalties in the first half. But I think when you assess it, you have to say we committed too many penalties to win the game. Even if the officials were off by 50%, you're still talking almost double-digit penalties for South Carolina State. You cannot go on the road and expect to win a football game of this magnitude committing that many penalties and mental errors.
18 penalties. Keep in mind they also missed a 32-yard field goal that looms really large right now. Time for our AT&T strong performance.
Has to be.
Anthony Jordan.
I mean, right here, first half. When he moved the pile right away, you knew he was running with the mission Got called for a penalty on that stiff arm, but still hard nose running, and this one right here, just classic. What he's been doing all night. Get to the outside, tough to bring down. Strong performance, clearly delivered. Anthony Jordan, fifth-year senior.
So Bethune-Cookman will improve to 5-1, 3-0 in conference, and Anthony Jordan, a big reason why. 22 carries, 121 yards tonight. South Carolina State will fall to 2-3 overall and 1-1 in conference. We said, Jay, at the top, this is a game that always plays a huge impact on who wins the MEAC. And this round goes to Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, it's one loss last year in conference play. 5 teams tied with 2 losses. So for South Carolina State, they have to hope somebody can knock off Bethune-Cookman. Let's not forget about Morgan State. So it's going to be an interesting finish in conference play, but right now I think you have to say the favorite, the Wildcats from Bethune-Cookman.
4th straight year that Bethune-Cookman has started conference play 3-0. And this, of course, in the first year for head coach Terry Sims.
He's keeping the recipe going. They've got a good defense, and they protected their home turf. And Quinn Williams will take this team as far as they can go. And he plays well in the 4th quarter, and that's crunch time. That's why the Wildcats are so tough to beat. And hats off to Terry Sims. Hard-fought victory here at home.
So we had a much more offensive, shall we say, second half. It was 3-0 at the intermission. But that 3 points meant a lot, because that's the deciding factor. Bethune-Cookman wins it over South Carolina State 17-14. For Jay Walker and our entire crew, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks so much for sharing this one with us. 3-point win for the Wildcats. Good night from Daytona Beach.